Enjoy the taste of summer no matter what the weather when you head to Maverick for some Mountain Dew Baja Blast. You'll love the legendary, refreshing tropical lime flavor. And to make the sweetness last longer, Maverick now has it in 1-liter bottles. For a limited time, get 2 for $5. Single purchase, regular price. Plus, Adventure Club members get 25 bonus trail points with purchase. So blast into Maverick today and enjoy that unmistakable Baja flavor. Maverick. Adventure's first stop.
Exciting news, Wine Coven! As you know, we are doing a live show at the Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul on Saturday, September 21st. But if you aren't local, we have even more exciting news for you.
Yes, we do. For the first time in Wine and Crime history, we will be live streaming the show directly from the theater to give all of you who can't attend in person a true live show experience.
It's like Wine and Crime pay-per-view fight night, baby.
Yeah, but fortunately it's not like smell-o-vision.
No. And we won't actually be fighting.
Well, you never know. You know us.
Yeah, it's true.
This will be a wild and witchy time with a feral girl theme, and we're working on some masterful Hot Topic inspired costumes.
Oh my god, I'm so excited about my costume.
But actually very inspired by the craft. We encourage you to dress up too. Lots of eyeliner.
Yep. Whether you're in person or at home, please dress up and share your photos on the social medias. I will tell you, in-person tickets are selling fast, so don't miss your chance to come be with us in person at the Fitz. And you can head to wineandcrimepodcast.com for links to both in-person tickets and live stream tickets. And your live stream purchase also comes with like infinite replays, so you can experience the joy over and over again, or simply watch it in a time zone that is reasonable for you if you're, say, across the pond.
We cannot wait to be back at the Fitzgerald and see all of you on September 21st.
Woo! Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, collect their cat's hair,
I said I'm stopping.
and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents. I have questions, concerns.
Okay.
I'm Amanda. Lucy over here. As we were prepping to record, we're finishing up some ads. She holds up this clump of orange fur and goes, I think I'm going to stop collecting Ray's hair. And I was like, stop? And then I've got no resolution other than it was for a craft. What craft?
I have a whole book of crafts that 2 different people have given me. It's like making crafts with your cat's hair.
Okay, so this is the Wine Coven's fault.
No, it's like my friends and family.
So it's their fault.
I know my mom gave me one copy and I don't remember who the other copy came from, but it's Crafting with Cat Hair is the name of the book.
What kind of things can you make?
You can make like the one I was saving up for is making like felting, you know.
Yeah.
A little beret for your cat. A little beret of its own hair.
Stop.
Yeah.
Wait, so do you just have like a gallon Ziploc?
Yeah, that's exactly what I have. And Ray tries to get into said gallon Ziplocs. There's like little tooth holes in there.
This is mine. Ew.
I'm going to throw it away, I guess.
Don't. Add it to your baby book. Ray was your first baby.
Ghostface was my first baby.
That's true. Ghostface was your first baby.
You should have a kitten book whenever you get a new cat. Even if it's not a kitten. It's like a baby book, kitten book.
Yeah. Cat book.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think it's that weird. I didn't write the book about crafting with cat hair. I just own 2 copies.
I didn't write the book. Well, wow. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of don't want you to throw it away. And I kind of do want you to make the little beret or give it to me and I'll make the little beret.
I'll send you a picture of it.
I need a winter project. So bring me the cat hair bag when you come up for the live show.
Okay.
And send me like a picture of the instructions.
I'll
for
just
the
give you
felting.
one of my 2 copies of the
right.
book.
You have 2 books. Okay, great. I started out judging you, but now I'm kind of in.
Yeah.
I need a winter depression project.
Yeah.
And it's going to be going back to not knitting, crocheting, and apparently making a tiny felted beret for your cat. My godson.
Yeah. It's a labor of love.
Incredible. Well, this has nothing to do with today's episode, which is a very special fan pick from Peggy LaRoe.
It does kind of have something to do with it because these are cats and this topic are 2 of my
favorite things.
2 of my favorite
These are a
things.
few of my favorite things. Also, Peggy LaRoe sounds like a romance novelist's name, and I am living for it.
It's the best name. Peggy LaRoe.
Peggy has chosen the topic of vodka crimes.
I was so happy when I put this on the schedule.
Okay, Lucy texted me like 2 weeks ago, excited about this episode, and was like, can we record in the evening so we can like tie one off a little bit? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yep. I'm ready.
So we're going to dive in. This week, we are pairing this episode not with wine, obviously. We had to pair this with vodka.
It's a full-bodied Pinot Noir.
Just a nice, sweet Riesling. I don't know what you've chosen, but I wanted to feature one of Lucy's favorite cocktails that has become one of my favorite cocktails. I literally never drank these until you were like, bitch, this is the jam.
My mom got me turned on to them.
Oh my God. It is, of course, the Greyhound.
Yes. Not a salty dog.
No, because Salty Dog is tequila, right?
No, it's just a greyhound with a salted rim.
Oh, well, shit.
I just
There's
don't
one
like
with
the salt. I
tequila.
don't drink my margaritas with salt either.
Fair. Maybe it's a tequila sunrise that I'm thinking of. Bad bartender. Bad. So you can use any vodka you like. Our fan picker, Peggy, is a Belvedere girly, but I'm personally using some French-ass vodka that was on super sale at my local liquor store. So
French.
you do you.
Okay.
It's French. I recognize the label, but now I can't remember what it's called. It's got a little fucking French flag on it. It's cute. It's tasty.
Grey
I'm
Goose?
liking it. It's not Goose.
Okay.
It's like a step lower than Goose, but it's another like world-renowned French vodka. Turns out you can also make Greyhounds with gin, but this is Vodka Crimes, so fuck gin.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Let's take a moment to learn a little more about the history of the Greyhound and some simple recipes that you can make at home. And then I'll go over how I made mine and you can go over how you made yours.
Excellent.
This is from masterclass.com, the classic Greyhound cocktail recipe with vodka or gin. The Greyhound is a classic cocktail traditionally made with just 2 ingredients, grapefruit juice and either gin or vodka as the spirit. It is served in a variety of different glasses, so feel free to make yours in a rocks glass, a Collins glass, a highball glass, or a martini glass, or a mason jar if you're a basic bitch like me.
Or a cat glass from Urban Outfitters.
Cat glass. Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
I told you 2 of my passions.
Yeah, you are really combining them today.
Am I transparent?
No. You? The Greyhound cocktail recipe first cropped up in the Savoy Cocktail Book, a 1930 cookbook by Harry Craddock. It wasn't until 1945 that the drink was officially called a Greyhound in print by Harper's Magazine, supposedly because it was a popular cocktail at Greyhound bus terminals. Can you believe?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. I'm not.
Okay. Oh, quick anecdote. That reminds me.
Always.
So
Need to get a bus ticket.
my last apartment was in a specific area of town where there was a Greyhound bus station. The liquor store happened to be right across the street from it. And I went to the said liquor store and they used to stock white grapefruit juice pretty much just for me.
There you go.
Like, it's kind of hard to find these days, white grapefruit juice.
I had to use pink.
Same. Not great, but prefer white. I had a bottle of vodka and a bottle of white grapefruit juice And I was standing to pay at the liquor store, and this woman behind me I will never forget her. She was wearing a pair of jeans, and I kind of say that very abstract, like I don't know if you could call it a pair of jeans, because they were cut into strips all the way down the leg from like booty short height.
I love that.
It looked
it's
like
those
skirt.
Temu ads that always want to get me to buy like a denim thong that they're trying to sell as shorts.
Yes. So I said, she was behind me in line, and she was like, "Oh, I want to go to the party you're going to." And I was like, "Yeah, Greyhounds, baby." And she goes, "Greyhound, it's about to leave. You got to go. Let this bitch pay. She's got to go. She's going to miss her bus." And I was like,
She put you to the front of the line.
She like tried to push me to the front. She's like, "She's got to get her groceries. Her bus is about to leave." I was like, no,
incredible.
That's okay.
Let me clarify.
I
am not taking a bus, but she was spot on, because I guess back in the day, the bus station had a bar.
I
love
want that to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like waiting at the airport. You get your cocktail, you get on your bus, you go to your destination.
Exactly.
I'm obsessed with this.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 variations on the Greyhound. It's a simple drink, so there's plenty of room to change it to your taste, which I did today. You can add some sweetened cranberry juice to the recipe to make a fill in the blank. Can you guess? Do you know what vodka, grapefruit, and cran is?
Sex on the beach.
Sea breeze.
Oh, Sea Breeze. I should have known that, because Red Eye is a fantastic movie.
There you go. As you said, the salty dog is a regular Greyhound with salt on the rim of the glass. And then you can make an Italian Greyhound with Campari and vodka as a substitute for gin if you don't want to do gin. That could be good.
Mm-hmm.
That could be good. Mine is pink grapefruit and vodka, obviously, a lot of vodka, a lot of ice, and cucumber mint sparkling water. I like to kind of thin mine out.
Shut the fuck
It's very
up.
refreshing.
That sounds so
Is yours
good.
just a straight up vodka grape?
No, ma'am. I had to get the ruby red grapefruit juice, but it's not ocean spray, so it is a little bit tart. I like the tartness.
Okay. Yep.
And then I also added a little bit of the lemon San Pellegrino on top. I actually haven't tried it yet.
Sparkling water to a Greyhound. Mwah.
It's also have a shot of chilled Tito's.
Good girl.
In my Everything is Dust shot glass, which comes in a set of 3.
French vodka bottle in the freezer. So maybe on our next little ad break, I'll run and grab a shot.
Yes.
As well.
I love that.
Good. All right. Well, cheers, mama.
Cheers, baby.
Should we take a shot break and hear a quick word from our sponsors?
Yes, we shall.
We are in the last, dying throes of summer, and it has been 85, 90 degrees every day for the last week. And without help, my thighs would be fused together. Okay, people?
And real angry.
Real angry. But we have Honey Love on our side so that you can feel your best even when you're wearing less, as those hot days are soon to be behind us. There is no better time than now to get these bad boys. I am in love with their superpower short. They use targeted compression to enhance your curves instead of squeezing them. You'll feel hugged, not suffocated. And it's like a bra for your booty. I have never looked so gorgeous. They're the only shapewear that won't ever roll down, no matter how much you groove on the dance floor. It is fall wedding season, babes. Let me tell you, you need it. Honey Love Shapewear features lingerie-inspired design details that you'll want to show off and is made with breathable fabric that keeps you nice and cool, which is perfect for that end of the summer heat. For a limited time only, you can get Honey Love on sale. Get 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/wine. Support our show and check them out at honeylove.com/wine.
Yeah, Amanda nailed it with that superpower short.
Oh, it's the best.
This baby smooths, shapes, and lifts, giving you a flawless silhouette under any outfit. You also do not have to worry about it rolling down, which is unheard of when it comes to shapewear.
Yeah.
There's flexible boning hidden in the side seams.
And
And
keeps
also,
her up.
that X. It gets you where you gotta be got. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This piece is also that booty lifter. Boost bands on the back of the thigh give your bottom amazing shape.
Yup.
And also, you got to go to the bathroom when you're out dancing on the dance floor, and sometimes that's not great when you have like a really cute outfit and shapewear on underneath.
The struggle of a lifetime.
It's super real. The Superpower short has a 100% cotton gusset, so you can skip the extra undies. Just go for it.
Yep.
And it has a convenient opening in that area for super easy bathroom usage. You don't have to completely disrobe. But it doesn't stop there. Honeylove has more than just sculpt wear. They have incredibly comfortable bodysuits, bras. I'm wearing my bra right now.
Love it.
Tanks, leggings. They've got it all. Honeylove is just as easy to put on as it is to take off. Shapewear just shouldn't be hard, shouldn't be complicated, shouldn't make you sweat. Their products make you look good and feel good, whether it's for a wedding, an event, or an everyday boost of confidence. Honeylove is the perfect plus one.
So treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/wine. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/wine. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Say yes to everyday adventure with Honeylove.
Everyone's got issues. Everyone. Whether that's like, can't sleep very well, you don't communicate very well, maybe you're having some problems with your partner, maybe you're having some problems with your brain or your best friend, or you're having a problem with food or, you know, substances, or you're just stressed out. Everyone's going through that stuff, and all of that and more can be alleviated with therapy. It can be very challenging to find and meet with a therapist that is the right fit. Emphasis on being the right fit.
Truly.
So Talkspace is an incredible invention. This is personalized treatment, and it's right from your phone. So you can meet with your therapist online. You can text with them. You can video chat anytime you want to. They have office hours. They'll get back to you in a very timely manner. But being able to talk to your therapist whenever is crucial.
It's amazing. Talkspace is the leading virtual therapy provider, and it makes getting the help you need easy, accessible, and affordable. Talkspace therapy and psychiatry are covered by many insurance plans and employers. Most insured members have a $0 copay. You can easily sign up online and get paired with the licensed provider that's right for your needs, typically within 48 hours, which can literally be life-saving if you're in crisis. But please don't wait until you are in crisis to get set up with a good therapist. You can also switch providers at no extra cost. So if it doesn't work out, you don't have to do the awkward in-person breakup with your therapist. You can just let the app know and request somebody new. Try on something else. Talkspace makes getting help convenient because you can take your appointments from the comfort and privacy of your own home. You can even talk it out between sessions by sending messages to your therapist. That's my favorite part. I have ADHD, and though I work on all kinds of great tools with my therapist, I'm still the kind of person where if I'm experiencing it, I got to get it out, or it's very likely that I will forget. And so that option has made it so much easier for me to stay consistent with my therapy. Talkspace provides personalized treatment for individuals, couples, the LGBTQIA plus community, veterans, teens, so much more. What are you waiting for, babes?
As a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/gals and enter promo code SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/gals and enter that promo code SPACE80 to get $80 off your first month and show your support for this show. That's Talkspace.com/gals, promo code SPACE80.
Okay, we're back. Lucy and I both immediately got like the vodka sweats and had to take our shirts off.
I gotta take my shot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yep. Prep, shoot, chase. Atta girl. I'll do a shot next round. My vodka's still chilling.
Okay.
All right, Lucy.
If my eyes stop watering by then, I'll join you.
We shall see.
We're going to get sauced. And Corey and June are out of town for the night. I can do whatever I want.
I am so happy for you.
I haven't had a night alone in my home with no one else around in
probably a couple of years.
Over a year.
Easily. Yeah.
Well, a year, that's a long fucking time for...
It's a long fucking
time. My
time.
favorite thing to do is to be home alone.
Yep. It's the best feeling in the fucking world.
Yes.
Well, let's get through this so you can enjoy your time.
Okay.
Lucy, what is our background? Maybe psych and maybe... Are you doing a case today?
Yes. And it's
shit.
fucked up.
So is mine. It's one of the worst things.
We gotta stop doing this. We gotta stop doing this.
We gotta stop meeting up like this. We gotta stop. Gotta stop doing this to ourselves and to all of you.
Nah,
fuck it. All right, well, let's go.
let's do it. So vodka is a distilled liquor that is clear and colorless without a definite aroma or taste. That's why it's such a good mix liquor.
Okay.
And has a range of alcoholic content from about 40 to 55%. It is highly neutral because the flavoring substances have been eliminated during processing. So this means that vodka can be made from what the fuck is it called? Like a mash.
A potato.
Yes.
Yep.
It can literally be made from mashed potatoes.
Nailed it.
Of the cheapest and most readily raw materials suitable for fermentation. That's the word I was looking for. A fermented mash. So cereal grains were traditionally used in Russia and Poland. And then later potatoes were used increasingly in those countries and in other vodka producing countries. So before I get into detail, did you know that 40% of Americans drank vodka regularly in 2018?
40%?
40.
That's a lot.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, it's what my dad worked in primarily in marketing for wines and
You
spirits.
sure did.
And when I got into like restaurants and bartending, he was always like, it's a good gig because I can tell you from experience, like people drink when they're happy and people drink when they're sad. It's just like an industry that will always exist. Whether or not that's good or healthy, it varies from person to person.
It's like alcohol and sex work
Yeah.
are the two industries that
that will never...
they're never going to fold.
They're never going to fold. And I mean, more power to you.
Yeah.
Damn.
40%.
40%.
I know that really, I mean, I drink vodka regularly, but.
Well, sure. Well, sure.
So the name vodka comes either from the Russian voda or the Polish word woda, which means water.
Okay.
So yes, there is still some debate on where the liquor actually originated, if it was Russia or Poland. Some claim that it came about as early as the 8th or 9th century in one of those places. According to Absolute, the vodka, Poland can claim to be the birthplace of vodka because there is a written record of the word wodka in a Polish deed document called Atka Grodzki from the Palatinate of Sandomierz.
Nailed it. That was beautiful.
In 1405.
Okay.
So apparently it was some sort of like commodity. It was mentioned in a deed. So I don't know, someone like financed their house with vodka.
Oh my God.
In 1405.
We are living in the worst of times.
I don't think I would prefer to be living in Poland in 1405.
That is super fair.
Because look what I have now. Malin and Getz lip balm.
Yeah.
They didn't have that then.
They didn't have the tiny little tin of Vaseline that works well on both your lips and your chronically dry eyelids.
Yes.
Like they do today.
What would we do without Vaseline?
Bro, I don't even want to fucking think about it.
I would rather go without gasoline than Vaseline.
Straight up. I have Vaseline containers next to my bed, in my office, and in every single one of my purses.
Yep.
You and I are such fucking Vaseline girlies. You know who else is? My sister.
Good.
Ashley is a Vaseline bitch, and we cannot stress this highly enough. It's incredible.
I like the traditional Vaseline. I'm not a fan of the flavored ones.
I also prefer the traditional Vaseline, but the one flavored one I tolerate is the vanilla one because it's very subtle. Like it's barely
I've
there.
never tried the vanilla. I have
It's
the
nice.
cocoa.
My mom
Cocoa
puts them in
butter.
our Christmas stocking every year.
Same.
The little minis and the tins.
Same.
Yep.
That's how
they have
you
some
know
fun
your mother
ones.
loves you.
Straight up.
And if she doesn't put small tins of Vaseline in your stocking at Christmas, your mother
And you
doesn't
need
love
therapy. You need therapy.
So, in 1405, the vodka was mainly used for medicinal and cosmetic purposes. Don't know what they mean by cosmetic, but whatever. According to Macalester College's Russian Studies Department, bias, vodka was introduced to Russia in the 1300s. However, the first recorded use of the actual term vodka did not occur until 1751 when Empress Elizabeth's decree regulated the ownership of vodka distilleries. So they were like cracking down on who was actually producing vodka.
Okay.
And that was the first time the name as a liquor was like written down.
Okay.
During the 17th and 18th centuries, vodka also went by the names bread wine, bitter wine, and burning wine.
Ooh. Well, that tracks. It does have a burn on the way down.
Bitter and burning come from how it like tastes and feels, but the name bread wine comes from the imperial practice of having vodka with bread at every single meal. Every single meal.
Listen, it was a different time.
Yeah. Well,
We had to distill beverages because, like, they wouldn't keep.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't safe to drink water in most places. We were fucked from the very beginning. This was always bound to be a rough situation.
Yeah. The next time you come to Des Moines, I'm going to take you to Irina's. It's a Russian restaurant.
Okay,
And
I love.
They have big tubes of what's not fermenting? What's it called when you put like a bunch of fruit in there?
Oh, like dolies.
Huh?
That's what we call them up here. Stoli doli is pineapple infused.
Infusion.
Infusions,
That's the word.
yeah.
I don't know why I cannot find my words today. But they're
Listen, I
infused
got you.
vodkas. They have a horseradish infused vodka.
Bitch, put that in a Bloody Mary.
Oh,
and
yeah.
call it a day.
And then they'll serve, if you just order a shot of whatever vodka you want, they'll serve it with a piece of brown bread and a cucumber.
You know what? We've gone there. Didn't we go to some like ice bar experience there a while back?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we got
it
free
was fucking
hats.
awesome.
We got those free
Yeah.
Smirnoff hats.
I was like, I remember this.
Yeah. New location, beautiful. At least the old location felt very like Eastern European
Yes.
rave club.
I loved it. I loved
It
it.
was a very distinct like vibe.
Yes, I loved it.
I forgot that we went to that. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so bread wine. Vodka is still the most common name for the drink today, but it is also sometimes referred to as hot water, the
Love that.
monopolka,
Okay.
the bubble,
Mm-hmm.
and the white stuff.
Ooh.
So if your curiosity was piqued by the white stuff,
Uh-huh.
it all comes down to marketing. So according to the tasting table, whiskey was the longtime spirit of choice for Americans.
Yep.
After the Revolutionary War, America was looking to build and develop domestic goods. So they started churning out whiskey like nobody's business
Okay.
because it didn't need to be imported like other spirits of the time.
Okay. We had the capacity to make it at home.
Mm-hmm.
Stateside.
The American love for whiskey grew so much that when Smirnoff Vodka, which is a Russian company, hit the U.S. markets in 1939, Americans were like, I don't want that shit. We like whiskey. We drink whiskey around these parts.
Oh, yeah.
So they didn't care about a clear spirit boasting a clean flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And so then a Smirnoff salesman from South Carolina started pitching the vodka as, quote, white whiskey.
Oh, clever girls.
So
Okay.
once Americans...
I mean, that's a lie, but
it's a lie.
do
but
what works.
Whatever. All's fair in love and marketing.
All's fair in love and vodka.
So once Americans saw the product as like a lighter version of the stuff they already liked, it really took off. And eventually the nickname just kind of shortened to the white stuff.
Okay.
So if you're wondering how vodka is made,
I am.
production begins with the fermentation of the selected main ingredients. So like corn, wheat, potato. Whatever. Rye.
Prairie is corn, right?
I don't know, but Tito's is corn.
Yeah, I feel like Prairie and Tito's have like a stronghold in the Midwest because of the corn element.
Well, Tito's is produced in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Not that really...
Where's Prairie made? Why did I feel like Prairie is a Minnesota vodka?
I think it is.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've only ever seen it in Minnesota.
It is. Prairie is really good fucking vodka. It's good shit.
What's it made out of? Does it say?
100% USDA certified organic corn.
Corn.
I can't use the microwave. It smells like popcorn.
What?
It's from The Office.
Oh.
Fucking Phyllis.
Popcorn.
What are you making? Popcorn. Can you use the other microwave? I can't use it. It smells like popcorn.
Okay, it's all coming back.
So stupid.
You can even use fermentable fruits to make vodka.
Yum.
But like I said, the process just pulls out like most of the flavoring.
Sure.
So
So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, well, we'll kind of get to it.
It's better if you want something fruity, it's better to infuse it after the vodka's already made.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So once the liquor is fermented, it's distilled to produce a high proof alcohol, and then that is then diluted with water to make the product, and then it's bottled.
Which is also what you do when you're stealing it from your parents in middle school.
I saw a tweet the other day or something on social media. I don't know. I don't look at Twitter anymore. And no, I will not call it X. Fuck that.
No, none of us will.
It said like the person's like a parent, and they were like, I noticed that like a bunch of my vodka was missing from the bottle in the liquor cabinet. So first I accused my 23-year-old. They said it wasn't them. Then I accused my 17-year-old. They said it wasn't them. And they both said it was my 13-year-old.
Classic.
So I confronted the 13-year-old, and they said that they've been making vodka penne for the last few weeks. Like a bunch of it.
Bullshit. Show me receipts.
So then
timelines.
So then the
screenshots.
So then the poster said, okay, make me a batch of this vodka penne that you're proclaiming to make.
Yeah, that you're suddenly a savant at.
And they made it perfectly.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
And then the comment was like, that cooking endeavor must have felt like fucking the finals of Iron Chef.
Oh, my God. Everything's riding on this. Everything.
Your liberty,
I might be,
your future, your education.
Your literal freedom is on the line right now, girl. You better make the shit out of that vodka, that penne alla vodka, bitch.
They're 13.
I would have fucking killed to be in that room.
Executed it flawlessly.
Oh, absolutely incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. So while the ingredients may vary, the production process in a factory is all the same, though the use of raw ingredients will influence the flavor of the finished product.
Sure.
So this is where we get into like tasting notes. And I'm not one to like swish vodka around my mouth before I fucking swallow it. So I'm going to take their word for it.
Absolutely not. Yeah, no.
So wheat vodkas are often described as light, crisp, and subtly sweet. Rye vodkas lean more towards the spicy spectrum, and corn vodkas have a rich, like buttery taste.
Okay.
Potato vodkas have a unique texture and flavor, so the mouthfeel is like kind of fleshy.
Sure.
And the flavor is more savory with like earthy, nutty flavors.
Okay.
Also, because you're diluting it with water at the end of the production stage, at the end stage of production, the water quality plays a crucial role in the final product as well.
Yes.
So people who produce vodka prefer it to be made with soft water that's low in different kind of salts. So like sodium chloride, calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate, and magnesium.
Okay.
So I did mention that Tito's is a corn-based vodka.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that the name of the guy who invented Tito's,
His name is Jeff.
his name is Burt Butler Beveridge Jr.
I'm sorry. Beveridge?
His last name is Beveridge.
Like,
It's not spelled
that's
the
the
same.
family name?
It's not spelled the same, but that is absolutely how you pronounce it.
That's incredible.
Junior.
Junior.
Triple B Junior. Triple B2.
Of the beverages.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What a name.
I also heard a rumor, and I can't confirm this, but I heard a rumor that Burt Butler Beveridge Jr. and his wife started Tito's, and they have since been divorced, and she took her divorce earnings and went and started her own goddamn vodka company.
Get it, Queen?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I don't know how, I couldn't corroborate that, but like I mentioned before, vodka can be made out of all kinds of shit. So like the fermentable fruit that I mentioned. So there's a company called Tree Vodka that is made from apples, and they're out of near Rochester, New York.
Oh, cute.
The distillery,
How fun.
they plant their own apple trees, and then they grow and press the apples on site before distilling.
Oh, that's so cool.
Apple vodka.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
This one sounds even better. There's a company called Comb Vodka, COMB, like honeycomb. And that's made with orange blossom honey.
Bitch, that sounds so good.
This vodka only runs through the distilling process once, unlike other vodkas. So it's less, they strain out less of the flavor of the main ingredient.
Okay, so they're preserving some of that honeycomb sweetness.
Yep.
Whereas other vodkas want to make it basically as clean and tasteless as possible so it's easy to mix it with stuff.
Exactly.
Got it.
So hence
Okay, that makes
the
sense.
widely available cheap stuff like potatoes, wheat, rye, corn, etc. These are like, they're trying to kind of preserve what it's actually made out of. So
Very cool.
Home vodka has like more lush honey apple tones. And then there's another company called Vermont Gold Vodka, which is made from maple tree sap.
Cool.
So it has a light caramel aromas and a gentle sweet maple flavor. I want to try
Honestly,
that.
anything that can, break down and ferment because it has good like sugar content. Like corn is a starchy and sugary. So are fucking potatoes. Like all of this tracks as a base.
Yeah.
Cool. I love this.
I know. Have you heard of the practice of vodka eyeballing?
No, can't say I have.
It's grosser than you think. So
Great.
this is a method of quote unquote drinking vodka by pouring it directly into your eyeball.
No, I'd rather soak a tampon.
Said just use your butthole like everyone else,
Yeah.
freak.
Just use your butthole like everyone else.
So those who have tried it
Okay,
claim
but that was a joke. Don't use your butthole,
Don't use your
guys.
butthole.
Like,
No.
please don't use your butthole. That's not safe. It's not a safe situation.
So those who have tried eyeballing claim that the pouring of the vodka into the eye, quote, induces the feeling of drunkenness at breakneck speeds.
That feels so wasteful unless you have like an eyedropper.
But even then,
For
how
the
much
vodka.
vodka are you really get? It's still like the amount, you know what I mean? The amount
We
of
should
vodka.
rip drops.
I think they just like pour it in. Like
Fold
maybe
it
with
in,
like a
David.
spout, like a pourer. I don't know.
I don't.
I'm not going to claim to know any fucking thing about this because I
don't like this
and it sounds disgusting.
at all.
So the reason why they say it works faster, similar to the butthole thing, by passing through the mucous membranes and straight into the bloodstream.
Got it.
In 2010, the American Academy of Ophthalmology issued a public statement that
Don't do this.
that vodka eyeballing can harm people's eyes and vision
You don't say.
in many ways.
Please, for the love of God.
It can
Eye doctor nerds everywhere are like, why? I can't believe we're making this public service announcement.
know.
This can't be real.
It can damage one's cornea, cause permanent vision loss, and increase the risk of infection. While those who do this may believe they're getting drunk faster, many physicians have pointed out that very little alcohol is actually absorbed in this way.
Yeah, there's no way. This must be some sort of weirdo placebo effect.
I don't know. I didn't believe in that cinnamon challenge bullshit, but that was real. And people, died.
Wait, what cinnamon challenge? Where you just try to eat a spoonful of cinnamon?
I think you snort it.
What?
Don't you remember the cinnamon challenge? This was several years ago.
I remember a cinnamon challenge where people would try to eat a spoonful of cinnamon.
Oh, was it
I never
just
saw
eating
anyone
it?
snorting it. Yeah, and it makes you cough like crazy and you can't do it.
I don't know. It's like the Tide Pod thing. I don't
Listen, humans are fucking stupid. We are so fucking
Especially
stupid.
young humans.
It's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. So this brings me to my short but intense case.
Great.
Are you ready for this? You're not.
I mean, no, but
You're not. So this is the tale of Alexander Pichushkin.
okay.
He's Russian, go figure.
Couldn't tell.
Alexander Pichushkin was born on April 9th, 1974. He is an Aries. He grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 5th floor of 2 Kersonskaya near Bitsevsky Park, I think they pronounce it, or they shorten it to Bitsev Park or something,
Okay.
Bitsy Park, in Moscow, which at the time was the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
He lived there with his mom, Natasha, into his adulthood. He always lived there with his mom.
Okay.
As of 2006, they were living there with Alexander's younger half-sister, Katya, Katya's husband, and their 6-year-old son, Sergey. So it's 2-bedroom, 4 adults and a child. It's a bit tight.
It's a tight squeeze.
So Alexander and his mom shared a bedroom.
Okay. That's healthy.
Some facts of his life are kind of all over the place. I think just because it was Soviet era Russia when he was young.
Mm-hmm.
But it is reported that as a child he fell off of a swing set, and then I think he hit his head when he landed, but also the swing coming back hit him on the forehead.
Oh no.
And after that he was prone to outbursts.
Yeah, he's got some TBI stuff going on.
That's what is implied, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he was really bullied in school.
Sure.
So his mom sent him to a special school for kids with learning disabilities. But his grandpa could see how smart he was and didn't think that he belonged in any kind of remedial setting.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up moving in with his grandpa for a short period of time, and his grandpa taught him how to play chess.
Okay.
And Alexander was really good at it.
All right. Find something you like.
Mm-hmm. Chess gave him an outlet for his anger. So he would go into the park and play chess with the old men.
Mm-hmm. Cute.
And those old men were oftentimes just drinking vodka.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander was devastated when his grandpa died, when Alexander was kind of in his later teens. And then he went back to live with his mom and re-enrolled, I believe, in the so-called regular school.
Mm-hmm.
But tumultuous, traumatic. A lot of shit happened to him at a young age.
Yeah.
He started drinking a lot of vodka to deal with his grief and also to tame these angry outbursts. And kind of like I alluded to, he would also drink vodka with the old men playing chess in the park.
Yeah. So he developed a substance use disorder at a young age on top of a TBI.
Uh-huh.
Not
A great combo.
Not a great combo.
Around this time, he also developed a disturbing habit of bringing a video camera with him whenever he knew he was going to come into contact with children.
No.
He would film himself threatening the children so that he could re-watch the footage later to affirm his dominance and his power. So in one clip that was discovered later and was I guess made public, I didn't look for it. I don't want to watch it, but
Nope.
apparently in this clip, he's holding a young child upside down by one leg. And he says to the camera, quote, "You are in my power now. I'm going to drop you from the window. You will fall 15 meters to your death."
Ah! No!
So he's making these little videos to just go home and watch by himself and be like, yeah, I'm the man.
Oh, God.
To little kids. So that's
Not
gross.
loving it.
No. It gets a lot worse.
Great.
Beginning in 2001, 2002, people around the neighborhood began to disappear. And because the people who were disappearing were generally older people experiencing houselessness.
Okay. Yep.
And who also frequently had addiction issues.
Yup. They're just ignored.
They didn't have that much of a network, so they weren't quite noticed.
Yep.
Missed. I don't know.
Yep.
However you want to say that most delicately. And those that did notice this waited the requisite 3 days and then filed a missing persons report with the police. However, there was no progress made with this. No connections were made. They didn't have any leads. And so after a couple of years went by, people started wondering if someone they knew was behind all of these disappearances because it was all in the same area. And wouldn't you know it was someone they knew.
That is wild. How scary.
So here's how everything went down as we know now. On May 17th, 2001, Alexander killed Yevgeny Pronin, but this was not actually his first murder. So that was in 2001. Way back on July 27th, 1992, when he was just 18 years old, he killed his classmate, Mikhail Odachuk.
Oh, shit.
So he had invited Mikhail on what he kind of advertised as a killing expedition.
The fuck?
He said he wanted to kill someone. Mikhail kind of got curious and tagged along and didn't really know what to expect. Like, dude, are you serious?
You do not have any room to judge because tag yourself, Lucy is Mikhail.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be so curious.
I would be incredibly curious. And they're already friends.
Watch. I'm not going to participate.
So Alexander's like, I want to go kill someone. Want to come with? And Mikhail was like,
yeah, dog, I'm in.
But then when Alexander kind of realized on this expedition that Mikhail wasn't really serious about this whole endeavor, he killed Mikhail instead.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So the police had questioned Alexander about Mikhail's death, but obviously didn't come to any conclusion that Alexander had killed Mikhail. So they let him go, but this must have spooked him enough to wait 9 years before he struck again.
Wow.
So that was back in 92. Here we are in 2001. He killed someone named Yevgeny Pronin.
Okay.
So obviously that encounter with the police wasn't enough to spook him that much because when he came back to killing, he came back swinging. So after he killed Yevgeny in May of 2001, he proceeded to kill 9 more people.
Oh, God.
Over the following 8 weeks.
Oh, no. Rapid succession.
Yeah. By July 21st, he had killed 11 people.
Oof.
He would lure his victims to a quiet spot with the promise of sharing vodka.
There you go.
At the grave of his dead dog.
If you were like, hey, bitch, want to go to a cemetery and drink some vodka?
And talk about my dead dog? Yes.
I'm
there.
in.
I'm so there.
Your case is basically a step-by-step guide on how to lure me into a situation that I shouldn't be in. Yep.
Yep. So he'd be like, I'm so sad about my dead dog. Do you want to go drink this vodka that I have by his gravesite so I can cry and talk about my dog?
Yeah. God, yes.
I would love nothing more.
You just described my perfect date. Like, if my husband who does not drink, if he came home today
with a bottle of vodka.
Babe, with a bottle of, no, not even. Was just like, babe,
kombucha.
Do you, specifically you, want to drink a bunch of that vodka that's in the freezer and, go walk around a cemetery and cry about Callie? I'd be like, marry me all over again.
You are my one true love.
Describe your ideal date.
Yes.
You just did.
Uh-huh. But this is how he killed a whole bunch of people.
Mm.
So most of his victims that he lured this way were, like I said, homeless men suffering from alcoholism who just couldn't resist scratching that itch regardless of how into talking about dead dogs they actually were.
Yeah.
Most of these victims... Oh, my God. Okay. Some sources said most of them. Some of them said just like a handful of them. But at least some of these victims died, oh, God, after he threw them into a sewage pit.
No.
After getting them drunk on vodka. So he basically got them wasted and threw them into a bunch of poop. And they died.
Drowned them in shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. That part I'm not down for.
Oh, you're going to get... Yeah, it's get worse.
Am I going to throw up?
And in some cases, he strangled them or hit them in the head, and we'll get back to that. His killing spree slowed down in the fall and winter of 2001, and it's suspected that he only killed about 5 people during that period.
That's wild.
Because only...
We were just little babies. We were just... In 2001... I was wearing all black with a sign around my neck that said, I am observing the anniversary of Kurt Cobain's death and will not be speaking today.
I remember.
While
and then you got yelled at by
man,
that guy. You don't even know his daughter's name.
Oh, yeah. It's like, name 5 Kurt Cobain songs. And I was like, I won't be naming any Kurt Cobain songs because I'm observing a day of silence. So you should go fuck yourself.
I remember that
Goth
day.
on goth crime. Goth crime.
We had a seance. I had to steal matches from my parents.
You did. We went out to the football field.
Mm-hmm.
You guys came over to my house and we went to the football field and we had a seance.
And I was like, oh, the guy from Nirvana?
Yeah.
You took it very seriously.
Oh, I was clearly doing something very different from this gentleman in 2001. We are not the same.
We channeled him. We had a Ouija board.
Listen.
Courtney did it. Okay.
I don't think Courtney did it. Justice for Courtney.
No, I know. Yeah, whatever.
Just for the record, in case our seance with Kurt Cobain was real, I want to have said on the record, I don't think Courtney did it.
Okay, so you weren't moving the planchette.
I wasn't.
I don't think I was. Whatever, who cares? On February 23rd, 2002, Alexander tried to kill a pregnant woman by the name of Maria Virachiva by pushing her down a well.
Are you kidding me? What is this, 1920?
She survived. It's 2002. She
but
survived
still.
And got to a hospital.
Good for her.
But when the cops asked her for her registration papers, she didn't have any. So basically...
Who gives a fuck? I'm at the hospital. I just got pushed down a well. Can we figure out my registration papers later after I get, I don't know, medical care?
She's a pregnant woman in Russia. I don't know. The cops got involved. They didn't care.
Oh, this is sick.
So apparently millions of Russian citizens at this time probably still live in Moscow quasi-illegally because jobs outside the capital are very scarce.
Yeah.
So people move to Moscow, but you need you need special papers to live there.
Yeah, illegally according to the state. Because we're of the mindset that people are not illegal. But I get what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Did I say she was illegal?
No, that they were living there illegally. You didn't say it wrong.
She was undocumented.
Undocumented. I'm just being pissy because I hate what the Russian government and like fucking police have done to this woman.
Mm-hmm. And what Alexander tried to do.
I'm a little drunk and I'm complaining. Yeah.
Because of this, the cops told her that if she just shut up about the attack, they would drop the whole papers thing. So she came out later and said what happened to her. But at the time, they were like, well, if you don't press any charges, so we have less paperwork to do, then we will let you off the hook for living here, quote unquote, illegally.
Oh my fucking God.
So that was February 2002. He continues killing people. In 2005, by 2005, Alexander's methods had become, shall we say, a bit more intense. During his trial later, I think like the next year, I think he got captured in 2006. So during his trial, the prosecutor said he had at this point begun killing with, quote, a particular cruelty.
Oh, good.
Because it wasn't bad enough.
No.
So this involved him hitting his intoxicated victims multiple times in the head with a hammer.
No.
And then sticking the unfinished bottle of vodka into their shattered skulls.
What? That's some like Jeffrey Dahmer shit.
Like a koozie.
That's fucked up.
Or puncturing their bodies with like sticks and stuff.
Yikes.
He was fucking with their corpses.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He later confessed that his motivation was like sustenance for him. So he said, quote, for me, a life without murder is like a life without food for you. Also, at this point in 2005, he just fully gave up on trying to conceal the bodies.
Yeah.
Just leave them out. We don't need to throw them into the sewage pit.
Well, because the cops don't want to fucking work, so he's just been getting away. He's been killing with impunity.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and targeting vulnerable victims so that, like, they have no fucking rights and the state does not give a shit about them.
Plus, it's Russia.
Right. Oh, my God.
In November 2005, a 63-year-old ex-cop named Nikolai Zakharchenko was found dead in the woods. So Nikolai was the first of Alexander's victims to not just go missing, but also to be discovered, identified, and determined beyond any doubt to have been murdered.
Okay.
The rest of these people just kind of disappeared or the police just shushed them.
Yeah, we don't care.
Mm-hmm. He was also Alexander's 41st victim.
Holy shit.
It was only after bodies started showing up in the forest of Bitsevsky Park. So like this park that he lived near, all of a sudden, since he stopped trying to hide the bodies, they were just fucking everywhere. Every like few weeks or whatever, they would find a new dead body in this park.
What the fuck?
So it was only after that development that the Interior Ministry and the Prosecutor General's office realized that there was a serial killer in Moscow.
Okay.
The worst thing about Alexander is the fact that he wanted recognition for his crimes. He wanted like respect regarding these murders.
Oh, ew.
So that is why 2005 was a turning point for him and his killings. He no longer pushed victims down wells. He hid their bodies in the snow, in the mud, in between trees, like where they were gonna be found.
Uh-huh.
One victim was found by the side of a stream, but some wild dogs had found it. Found him first.
Oh, God.
So the way this victim was found is that a local doctor was out walking his dog.
No.
His dog kind of like ran off and came back with a bone in his mouth. And the doctor saw the bone and was like, that is a human fucking bone.
Okay. Did I ever tell you? When I was working at a restaurant that I will not name publicly, but you know it very well.
Yeah.
We would host these really phenomenal New Year's Eve parties. And the staff, we all got wasted because it was like all regulars that would be there until midnight and beyond.
Just a bunch of your friends.
And then the staff would come in the next day hungover as shit to clean up the restaurant because we were never open on New Year's Day.
And you could just leave it a mess and...
Yep, we kind of left it a mess. Like we did the bare minimum wild drunk, and then we'd come back the next day and like order bagels and just be hungover and clean up.
That's a fantastic process.
It was super fun.
Yeah,
it was super fun. And one of these New Year's parties, one member of our team vomited out of a door that led into an alleyway, and it is Minnesota winter, so it promptly froze to the ground.
Oh my God. It was there for 6 months.
No. The next day, we located it and said, we have to do something about this. So somebody started boiling water in the kitchen, and we were going to pour water on it and get it like cleaned up. One pot of water did not do anything other than turn it into kind of a slushie. And we had an elder regular who has since passed, RIP, and I won't say his name because then everyone will know the restaurant, who walked his dog almost every day.
No.
And would stop by the restaurant,
No.
say hello to the dog, and we'd say hello to the man, maybe give the dog a treat.
Oh, no. A bone.
And he comes in and he says, did somebody spill soup in the alleyway? My dog won't stop licking it.
Gut soup.
I mean,
Ugh.
this vom looked like minestrone. Like, I don't know what this man had eaten.
Yum.
Yum, and also fucking yikes. So this poor dog is like feasting on it, and the old man is like ripping him away, and we're like in horror knowing that it's vomit. Yep.
Rusty,
we're like,
no.
ah, yep, it's soup. We're getting it cleaned up. You should just stay out of the alley today.
Oh, my
Never
Lord.
told him. Never told him, and then he died years later. God bless him.
You know that his dog,
the dog
like,
died
licked
not
his
from
face.
the soup.
He's like kissing his dog.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. Never told him. I'm happy that both the dog and the man have gone to their graves never knowing.
Did it kill the dog?
No, it didn't kill the dog. The dog lived a lovely life.
That's good.
Thriving.
I feel like the odds of your dog running off and getting a human bone and bringing it back to you to like solve a mystery would be the only reason to own a dog.
I mean,
for me.
Callie never did.
Well, Callie's dead.
She is dead. She also never would have returned a bone to me. Anytime I gave her a bone, she got like super high anxiety, would walk around with it in her mouth, mean mugging me like I'm going to take it. And then the second I let her outside, she'd bury it so nobody could find it. I was like, you're not even enjoying this. This is giving you awful anxiety. That dog was not okay.
She was a sensitive girl.
She was so sensitive. It's like, bitch, I don't want that. I bought it for you. It's nasty. You can eat it.
So June is teething, so I got her these little Gerber. It's basically like a cylinder of really compacted granola, so she can chew on it, but it looks and smells and feels like a fucking dog chew
toy
thing.
You know what I gotta send you? Are those, like, they look like a pacifier, but instead of like a nipple, it's just a net.
Yeah, babe. To eat berries. I have one.
Yeah, you
she
put the
loves
frozen.
it.
Oh, it's the best
She
for teething.
loves it.
Oh, you put the frozen, you get the bag of the Kirkland frozen strawberries from Costco.
She was eating strawberries when we were in Santa Fe.
Oh.
It was a massacre. Her clothes will never be the same. It was just red everywhere, and she was loving it.
Loved it.
Yeah, those little...
They make the coolest stuff for kids
We
now.
call it a fruit sock.
Fruit sock.
That's kind of what it
Fruit
is. But yeah, if anyone out there listening has a young child and has not heard of these things,
they're the best.
They're the best.
That and the baby weight fanny pack. What's that thing called?
It has a horrible name. It's called a tush baby. But it
hate that.
But it has changed my goddamn life.
Straight up. Straight up. Honestly, the
Yeah.
shit they have for kids now is fucking so cool.
It saved my back,
So
that's
cool.
for damn sure. We walked all the way around a fucking farmer's market for an hour and a half
impressed.
with her sitting on this little fanny pack thing. And my back felt totally fine.
So impressed.
Magic. Okay, back to this horrific homicidal maniac.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I needed a distraction for a second.
Yeah. We're almost done.
Great.
In early
Thank God.
In early 2006, the people who lived on the street where Alexander lived, I'm not going to try to pronounce that again, and also like just like the neighborhood, started to wonder who the Bitsevsky Park maniac was, because that's what he was called at the time.
What the fuck is going on?
So kind of like I mentioned earlier, ultimately it was Alexander's desire to be known that got him caught. So in June 2006, Marina Moskalyova became Alexander's last victim.
Uh-oh.
So Alexander went for a walk in the park with Marina, who was one of his colleagues at the supermarket that he worked with at the time. Some sources claim that she left a note at home saying she was going to go for a walk with Alexander. Other sources say that when her body was found on June 14th, Detectives found a metro ticket in her pocket and also a piece of paper with Alexander's phone number on it.
Okay.
So they used the metro ticket as a clue to look back at the surveillance footage from that metro station. And it showed Marina walking with her alleged killer, who was Alexander.
Oh, shit.
So this led to a raid on Alexander's shared apartment 2 days later, where he was arrested. When they raided the apartment, the police found a chessboard in Alexander's room that he shared with his mother.
Okay. Yep.
On which he had recorded his murders, one per square.
No.
There are 64 squares on a chessboard, and 61 of them had been crossed out.
No.
So
61?
So that is the number of people he claims to have killed.
And of course, we don't have like proof, but it's pretty likely. Like, why would he lie? But if he wanted the notoriety, maybe that's worth, taking that with a grain of salt. But still, that's pretty fucked.
So his board showed 61 victims. They only had evidence of either 48 or 49 victims. But Alexander claimed that he had killed 63 people and he was only one away from completing his board.
Ish.
So in 2007, he was found guilty of 48 murders or 49 murders and also 3 attempted murders. Like I said, although he claimed to have committed 63 murders, the prosecutors could only find evidence of 48/49. So the jury deliberated for a little over 2 hours and found him guilty of those 3 attempted murders plus the 48/49. He was sentenced to life in a brutal labor colony called the Polar Owl.
Ooh.
With the first 15 years serving in solitary confinement.
Ooh. Yikes.
He appealed this and said it was too harsh.
I mean, not that this person does not deserve to never be ingratiated with society in any way ever again. Yeah. But I am certainly not in support of that method of punishment.
A Russian labor colony called the Polar Owl.
It's going to be a no from me, Doug. It's no.
Yeah.
Can't say I love
I'm not
that.
sitting here saying that the judgment was fair or unfair in either direction, but everything about this dude is a nightmare. So he's also called the chessboard killer.
Oh, God. It's so creepy.
Because of that fucking chessboard. Look at the pictures I have, which will be on the blog.
Oh, no.
Specifically that black and white one.
Oh, God. Oh, the cat.
I know.
Why?
There's a picture of him shirtless holding a black and white cat, a beautiful black and white cat with black toe beans. But, yeah, he's awful. And the picture of him,
my God,
scowling, being escorted into the courtroom by, like, some sort of officer who's also giving him a really dirty look. I don't know. He's like a caricature.
He's a disgusting. It's a, nope. Great job.
Thank you. So, that is my case and my background. No psych for Vodka Crimes.
Well, you've harmed us psychologically enough to count that as psych. So I think we're good. I think we're okay.
The worst part was him smashing people in the head with a hammer and then jamming the half-finished bottle of vodka in the hole in their skull.
That was bad.
It's like a signature. He developed like a signature.
Not a fan.
Oh, God.
Not a good situation. Hated every second of it.
Especially with like the imagined backdrop of like 90s Soviet Union.
Oh,
well,
God.
I guess Russia. I don't know. I don't know when the Soviet Union fell.
When we were in high school, it was Russia and not the Soviet Union, so we're good.
Yeah, I get that and the Berlin Wall mixed up. Whatever. It's all fascism. Who cares? Moving on.
I drank my whole thing.
Oh, babe. Proud of you.
So I'm going to go make another cocktail and grab a shot.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing that, should we hear a word from our sponsors and take a quick mental health break?
I would love to.
Because shit's about to get rough.
Perfect.
When you're in winter's favorite town, the snow-covered mountains surround you. A historic Main Street charms you. And every day brings a new adventure. Welcome to Park City, Utah. Naturally, winter's favorite town. Join the experience at visitparkcity.com.
Do you have a shot?
Yeah, babe.
Let's do this.
Cheers.
It's gonna hurt.
Well,
Oh, and I chased it with my cocktail.
why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
Oh no.
I could chase it with a McDonald's French fry from 2 hours ago.
Oh,
Oh, that doesn't smell good. Okay. Are you okay? Are you okay?
fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I've been I know I'm so late on this train, but I have been very into the Broski Report recently and like watching her videos and listening to her podcast.
What's that?
Oh, it's Bonnie Broski. She is an ADHD girly after my own fucking heart. She's a very funny person. I know you've seen her on TikTok because she does a lot of work with Trixie Mattel and
Oh,
Drew
I fucking
Offwallow.
Offwallow. I
Offwallow.
love her.
Yeah, and
No, Broski. I know who you're talking about. She's blonde. She's so fucking funny.
her whole podcast is like, I'm going to look into this thing today, but just allow every tangent that my brain takes me on. And her most recent episode had me fucking dying because she was talking about chronic illness. She has PCOS and I was just like completely vibing with everything that she was saying, but she'll get to a point where she just turns away from her mic and just screams. She's like, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm like, bitch, felt.
She said something. She was doing an interview with Trixie Mattel. Oh, they were doing she was attempting drag makeup. Like
Their makeup
Trixie's
tutorials?
drag makeup.
Have you seen the one where they did characters from SpongeBob?
No.
Girl, her nose falls off like 3 times.
Why is she wearing a fake nose?
For SpongeBob, he's got that long,
ew.
she's SpongeBob, and then Trixie is trying to be like sexy Squidward. It's incredible. And then there's
my
this amazing
God.
moment where Trixie's trying to like check her look and her little. Trixie Mattel has the cutest branding and the cutest makeup
That
and the
cute little heart
like,
mirror.
yes. So she picks up the mirror and it's facing the wrong way. And she's like, I fucking do this all the time. She's like, I love the look. And it's just like, she can't even see her own face.
I look so good.
I'm sorry. I just love, I'm going to get emotional. I just love watching friends have fun with each other. It's so fun. Like all my favorite shit on like TikTok and YouTube is always just like, friends who love each other and like maybe rip on each other a little bit, but they're just having fun and they don't care who knows.
That's us, baby.
That's us, baby.
That's also what I love about affirmative murder.
Oh my God. Okay.
So
the
fucking
relationship between Alvin and Fran, and I gotta say, Alvin becoming a dad, my heart
Yeah.
exploded into a million
It soared
pieces.
out of my body. We've been he and I have been texting about like parent stuff.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy. I'm so happy he found his person and he has this beautiful little family. It's just, and like, Fran's been a dad for a while. Fran got married pretty young and they started having kids. And he's been talking about his kids on the show for, a while. And Alvin now, like, they've been best friends for so long, and now they have this shared experience that's just like elevating it to the next level. My heart cannot fucking take it. It makes me so happy to see people happy.
Alvin said something on, I think, their last week's episode, which at this point is going to be like several weeks old, but he said, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, but he said like,
am I going to cry?
Having a kid or having a baby is like medicine for cynicism.
Oh.
And that's the most accurate thing I've ever heard, because I'm a lifelong cynic, and I'm not claiming to not be a cynic anymore.
No, but it's
also,
different
like,
now.
when I see my baby in the morning after waking up, I'm like, oh, I am fucking putty in your hands.
You're in love with
I'm
her.
in love with, and I'll be honest, when I first like pushed her out of my body and they first put her on me, I was like,
ugh.
like I don't feel it yet.
I want nothing to do with this.
I didn't feel it yet, and that was like
You're exhausted.
Well, it was like 8-9 months ago, you know, and now that like, she's like growing and I've been caring for her and she's like becoming like a baby and a person, it's like, oh yeah, now I'm fucking obsessed with you. But yeah,
Listen,
as far as a medicine for a cynic.
You don't get to judge yourself for the first 2 seconds of meeting your baby after being in labor for 100 years. And like, you're exhausted. Your hormones are all the fuck over the place. And like,
it was still awesome, but I was like,
of course.
but I was holding her and I was like, I don't know you yet. You know,
we just met.
We just met. I've never held a baby like this.
No.
Ever. And that's okay. Anyway.
Such an amazing mom.
We're clearly intoxicated. Thank you.
I truly, if I'm being really honest, I would rather spend my entire segment just talking about how much we love each other and love our friends and all of our favorite podcasts and like the funniest things we've seen on TikTok. And I don't want to do this, but we have to do. I feel like
have to do it.
We have to do this.
We'll circle back to this on our private phone call that's going to happen probably right after we record this episode.
Yeah, the second I hang up, I'm calling you. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't be. Listen.
Okay.
Don't be stupid.
Let's get into your segment.
Okay.
I am so happy that we're feeling the love. I'm feeling the heat from the VOD. I am hot as fuck in here.
Oh, it's so hot. We both took our shirts off. I haven't been proper drunk for my segment since we did the frogging episode with Josh. And I was like, it was post-surgery. I was like hopped up on pills. I had half a bottle of Pinot Noir. Oh my God, yeah, because I had no fucking foot.
Because it was frogging crimes. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, right, frogging. I was thinking of how I had no foot.
I know. I knew you were going to circle it back to something having to do with you, but that's okay.
Oh, I should not have spun my head like that. That was a mistake. Okay. Tone shift. This is bad.
Perfect.
It's bad.
Can't wait.
Today, I'm going to tell you the vile tale of Gilbert Paul Jordan, known as the Boozing Barber.
Oh, I don't want a drunk person cutting my hair.
Honestly, if that was the extent of his crimes, I'd be fine with it. Super not. He's a fucking monster.
Cool.
He was born December 12th, 1931, a Sagittarius, in Vancouver, Canada.
Just kidding. June's a Sagittarius.
She's fine.
She's a baby.
She's a perfect
what harm
Sag.
can she do yet?
It's better than a Scorpio. You hear that, Ashley, my sister, who's a Scorpio?
Ashley's
whose
a
birthday is coming
Scorpio?
up? Yeah, and my mom, I think. Wait, no, my mom's a Scorpio. Wait, hold on. My mom is September 18th.
So she's a Virgo.
Zodiac. Yeah, my mom's a Virgo. My sister is November 12th.
Ooh.
Scorpio.
Ooh.
Okay, listen. She's a bitch.
She is. Yeah.
Ashley, in 7 months when you're finally caught up and you're listening to this, I love you so fucking much. You're literally still my emergency contact, even though I'm married to a capable man
who lives in town.
Who lives in my house. I would be so deeply untethered from reality so long ago if it weren't for my sister. She's literally saved my life.
I texted her last night.
Yes, she's amazing.
She's amazing. She's a constant part of my life.
She's a bitch.
Yeah.
On occasion.
It's not great consistent. Mother. She's a great principal, teacher.
She's not a VP anymore. Now she's at the district level. But if you fuck with this bitch, you're done. You're done. I would never want to cross her. As someone who has crossed her so many times. I've crossed her so many times.
Period in her bathing suit.
In her bathing suit. Yeah. No, seriously. But like as an adult, I'm like, oh, you could kill me. You could kill me so easily.
And fully get away with it.
And also, not a jury in the world would convict you because I probably deserved it.
Well, you're a teacher.
Kind of giving you a free pass here. she's amazing. But she could be a murderer because this guy was also a Sagittarius. Jury's still out. Let's just continue on and see what happens here. So he's born in Vancouver, Canada. He lived in Canada his whole life. He is a Canadian serial killer.
Thank you for clarifying.
Well, I mean, sometimes crimes that are committed in Canada can also happen in the United States. He never left
Israel
the US.
Keys.
Exactly. Precisely. Not much is known about his early life, but he was getting into trouble almost from the start. Like, this guy's rap sheet, the way that I had to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. His convictions included drunk driving, car theft, indecent exposure, violent rape.
Ew.
He was in and out of prison frequently.
Isn't all rape violent?
Well, yes, but there's I don't know how it is in the United States, but I've seen charges broken down like this. He has some charges for rape, then some charges for like violent sexual assault, which like to me it all feels very
Same
similar.
wheelhouse. Yep.
Yeah, but I feel like Canada and the US are pretty similar in their justice system, where it's like they have different crimes, quote unquote, but they're basically the same, but then they can stack the charges.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's all that different, but he is a sex offender, a violent fucking sex offender.
And that's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line. And Kathy, one of our amazing researchers, she listed out all 42 of his prior convictions for me. And I want to shout her out for doing that, but it was just too long. I couldn't read through them all on this episode. I had to cut it.
Jesus Christ.
But basically, he was in and out of jail or prison from 1950 until 1987. So he was a very active, very violent, very drunk piece of shit.
Okay.
During an early stint in Haney Correctional Institute, he took a course on how to become a barber, a trade which became his main source of earned income throughout the remainder of his life. A man named Bob Hedrick of the Parkwood Barbershop in Prince George recalls hiring Gilbert at one point, quote, but he didn't show up the first day. I called him. He'd been drinking. He called me back later and wanted to come to work, and I told him forget it. So it's like, he no-call, no-showed on his first day of work as a barber because he was hammered.
Great
and Bob
start.
was like, we're good. You can cut hair elsewhere. In the early 1980s, Gilbert opened a leased barbershop at 2503 Kingsway called the Slocan Barbershop.
Slocan.
According to a man named Mark Seebach, who bought and took over the shop in 1988, Gilbert used to get specifically Indigenous, First Nation Canadian women drunk at the barbershop. Quote, my customers and people in the neighborhood told me that
Like as workers or clients?
they were neither workers nor clients. He leased this shop to run his own barbershop and like cut some hair, but just had parties there all the time.
Oh.
He treated it like his own personal fucking drunk playground.
They were like shop girls.
Yeah. But I think it was a lot of after hours shit too. It wasn't necessarily during shop hours.
Oh, no.
but
I'm
he had-
sure it was a bunch of after hours
Yeah.
shit.
He was targeting and exploiting a vulnerable population of First Nation women, getting them hammered in his barbershop and taking advantage of them was what he was doing. Quote, my customers and people in the neighborhood, now this is a quote, so these are not my words, told me he used to get girls all drunk, mostly Indian girls, and steal their jewelry. The next day, he would have the jewelry for sale on the shop window ledge.
No, subtle.
Piece of shit. Mark said Gilbert was clearly an alcoholic. Quote, the air smelled like booze in here. The floor tiles were coming up, so there was just a dirt floor. There were no hot water tanks and no mirrors in a barber shop.
What?
I can't. He let it absolutely fall to pieces. I don't think he was even really working. I think he was hosting parties, getting people drunk. I don't know exactly how he was making his money, but he was not running a successful business.
No mirrors in a barber shop.
Shocking. No mirrors. According to other nearby business owners, he was barely running the shop. Quote, I heard he was closed more than he was open, said Ingrid Nitsch, who owned a restaurant called A Touch of Austria adjacent to Jordan's shop. Gilbert's last name is Jordan, so sometimes I'll say Gilbert, sometimes I'll say Jordan.
Can't fix it.
I can't be responsible for what I say or do ever, okay? Let's just make that clear.
Got it.
Nitch said she often reported Jordan's drinking parties at the shop to the police during the 2 years that he ran the business there. Quote, but the police couldn't do much because he kept it inside his shop, so it technically wasn't like public nuisance or disturbance. It's like happening in a private space.
Yeah. It's a private nuisance.
Right. Though I couldn't include all of his prior offenses, a few were profound enough that we had to cover them. This man had committed so many crimes of sexual violence that the Crown, which is like the state in Canada, attempted to have him registered as what's called a DSO, a dangerous sexual offender. So it's basically the equivalent of the United States being on a sex offender registry. Anyone can look you up. The neighbors are alerted. Your employers are alerted. Like, people know that you are a dangerous sexual offender.
I mean, good, especially if it's against, like, kids, you know?
Well, attempted to have him registered.
Oh.
This process includes an application and a hearing. The DSO hearing was ordered after Jordan was found guilty of 3 separate sex-related offenses in a 9-month period in 1973. And again, just to reiterate, a DSO is someone who has demonstrated a failure to control his sexual or her or their sexual impulses and is likely to cause injury, pain, or, quote, other evil because of this in the future. So you're a danger to society, essentially.
I like that other evil is like written into the legislation.
Yep. And in Canada, if declared a DSO, that gives the state more, I'd say, fuel to lock up this individual indefinitely, to basically say you're a danger to society. You cannot be reintegrated.
You were already labeled. You fucked up again.
Yep.
You're out.
So had this been successful, Jordan could have been locked up indefinitely. The 3 triggering events in 1973 that led up to this hearing were exposing himself in front of a group of children and 2 separate assaults on women. So to the children, he'd invited a group of children to watch TV at not his shop because he didn't have it yet, but his home. And he instead exposed himself. He promised a 23-year-old woman to drive her home after her car ran out of gas, and instead drove her to a deserted road where he pulled out a bottle of vodka from under the seat and offered her a drink.
Vodka.
When she refused and attempted to get out of the car, he pulled her hair and forced her to perform oral sex on him.
Jesus Christ.
While struggling, she told him, if you try anything more, it will be rape. And he replied, all right, then it's rape.
Okay. It is what it is.
I'm going to fucking borf.
Wow.
He would be interrupted when a car approached and the woman was able to jump out and escape. And for that altercation, he was sentenced to 2 years, but it was reduced on appeal to 6 months in jail. In the 3rd triggering incident, his victim was waiting for a cab outside of a liquor store when Gilbert, accompanied by his wife, now ex-wife, but like how these fuckers end up married is always beyond me.
Honestly.
I will always take this, even now that I'm happily married, it will be a personal attack that it took me so long to get to the altar. While these motherfuckers are married.
You're just finding partners. Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Snip, snap. And like, is my value as a woman tied up in whether or not I landed a man? Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's super not. But I get to be frustrated by this situation.
You're married, bitch. Whatever.
Yeah. So I won, and everyone can just go fuck themselves. But also, like, now that I'm married, nothing is different. You never have to do it. Don't fucking worry
Nothing
about it,
is
do
different.
you? Who gives a fucking
The
shit?
difference is taxes and wedding gifts.
I was the only person in my sphere who gave a fuck if I was married, and that speaks to my own bullshit that I needed to heal and nothing else. So,
But
like,
also, if you want a KitchenAid mixer, get married.
Get married.
If you want a free KitchenAid mixer, I should say. If you
Let me
don't
tell you,
want a free one, buy your fucking
you
own,
want
or don't get
a
one.
lot of Delta gift cards, get married. Or just throw yourself a single shower. Who fucking cares? Oh my God, it's so stupid. Nobody cares. So Gilbert offered her a ride home after dropping off groceries at his own place. Once he was there, he offered her some hot rum. So he's like, I'll give you a ride home. I have to drop these groceries off at my place first, but I'll take you home. They go to his house. He's like, here's some hot rum. She accepts. This woman loses consciousness, so he probably put something in it. And when she wakes up several hours later, she's on the floor in his bathroom. He's standing over her and trying to force oral sex on her.
Ew.
She tried to crawl away, but he punched her in the jaw and grabbed her throat.
Oh my God.
By the grace of God, she escapes beaten and bruised. I mean, it's a miracle that she made it out.
Yeah, for fucking real. This is gross.
He was convicted of indecent assault and sentenced to 2 years.
Can you remind me what year this is? Like 50s-ish?
So
70s?
when he was doing this shit, he started doing fucking shit in the 50s, but that was more like theft, drunk driving. Like his substance use disorder was obviously ramping up. He gets more violent in the 70s. So these incidents happened within a 9-month period in 1973.
Okay.
And after that, somebody is some fucking legal sect is trying to get him labeled as a DSO. And so they're going through this process because of these 3 incidents.
Got it. Okay.
But at the DSO hearing, so there's a witness for the prosecution, someone named Dr. Whitman, who said, quote, I think there's a very strong probability that he would cause injury or evil to other persons if he were free because of his failure to control his sexual impulses. Asked to define antisocial personality or sociopath, this Dr. Whitman said, quote, I'm describing an individual who is emotionally immature, whose behavior is often impulsive, who is quite unconcerned about the effect that his behavior has on others, and who is incapable of learning from experience. So this is the prosecution being like, this guy has antisocial and sociopathic personality disorder. He's not safe to the public.
And it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse. Please, for the love of God, put him somewhere safe where he can't hurt other people.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Whitman said Gilbert Jordan also displayed characteristics of a spoiled or petulant child. He said he didn't know of any treatment that would help him, that would allow him to be reintegrated into society safely. I have to keep drinking because I hate this so much. So for the defense, an expert witness named Dr. Tibor Bezaredi testified that by 1973, at the age of 42, having entered middle age, Gilbert Jordan had feelings of sexual inadequacy and was trying to, quote, prove his manhood by attacking women.
Dude, I mean, the concept of sexual inadequacy when it comes to men.
As a defense?
No.
He feels insecure. That's why he's doing this.
I just can't.
And it was the 80s, so this is a solid defense.
It might still be a solid defense now, just given the way that shit is.
Society is. I know. Thank you, Beans, for sitting in my lap. Did you know that I'm stressed and distressed? Are you trying to comfort me?
She can sense
it's working. She just bit my hand. Okay. Ow, stop. Because it was the 80s when this hearing took place, this apparently was considered valid. He claimed that by 1976, when his marriage dissolved and his former wife left the country, the defense said the motivation for Jordan's violent behavior was removed.
The motivations being his wife?
His ex-wife. They're blaming his ex-wife, saying that she was, quote, a fairly high-sexed, vigorous woman who made strong daily and even more frequent sexual demands on him, and now she was no longer there. So he wouldn't commit any more sexual violence because she was making him feel sexually inadequate because she was a slut and wanted too much sex that he couldn't provide to her. And that was making him lash out at these other women. That was the defense.
No notes, honestly.
I mean, I'm fucking speechless. This is sick.
It is so sick.
It's sick.
That's beyond just blaming women.
It's blaming a specific woman.
It's blaming a specific woman in a really manipulative way.
Oh, it's fucked up.
Oh, I don't even know what to say.
I know. What do you even fucking do with this? And it works.
Of course it does.
The defense said Jordan's sexual life after he was married was okay for a short period of time, and then he began to suffer from periods of impotence. And after he had been married for 6 months, he was in fact impotent for most of the time. And this caused him great feelings of sexual as well as personal inadequacy.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh, poor baby.
Yep. Oh no.
You feel inadequate because you just can't fuck?
Yep. Go out and assault a bunch of women.
Oh, yeah.
That'll fix it.
Carte blanche.
Yep. He said, quote, "Now I understand his wife left him after he was charged and detained, so I presume with this stimulation gone, his attention on sexual matters will not be reinforced, and his whole life will revert to his previous pattern of sexual behavior that was the status quo before he got married." So, like, this guy's got a rap sheet a mile fucking long, but the defense is like, he was fine before he got married. He was just a drunk. Then he got married and he started doing all this fucked up shit, and now he's divorced.
Weird.
So it's going to be fine. The problem is gone.
The problem is the wife.
Yep. Quote, "The second reason why I would say that it's less than likely that he will repeat these sexual offenses is because of his advancing age and will, as most of us, slow down in his acting out of his sexual impulses. He's getting old."
Oh, that's what they said about Joseph D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Didn't mean he didn't murder fucking 25 women or whatever it was. Like, this whole thing is
ludicrous. Quote, "There's never any doubt in my mind that he's a psychopath. There's never any doubt in my mind that he's a habitual criminal. But on the basis of his modus operandi, on the basis of his preference for the other crimes other than sexual offenses, if he is a dangerous sexual offender, he sure isn't the kind that I'm used to." End quote. I know he's a fucking mess,
quote?
but like, this was the doctor testifying in his defense. And it worked. This was compelling enough to dismiss the application for DSO, and he was able to go back into the world without registration as a dangerous offender.
Oh, I'm laughing because it's so fucking stupid.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
And then weird, a lot of women in his vicinity start to die. So
Stellar.
now we're
That's great.
going to focus on his victims.
Okay, great.
Ivy Rose Oswald was 52. Now, let me be clear. He had killed before he went before this like board for DSO, but he had not been able to be linked to really any of these crimes in a allegedly compelling enough way to bring him to justice for them until one, he finally got like sloppy enough that they could put him away. But he killed a lot of people. So Ivy Rose Oswald was 52 when she was murdered on January 17th, 1965 at a hotel where he had been living, the Lyle Hotel. Her blood alcohol level was 0.51 in her autopsy.
God.
She is the first known person to have died in Gilbert Jordan's company due to alcohol, and this was his MO. He would...
That's the highest?
Oh, it's wild. He would, quote-unquote, party.
Like alcohol, like what's called BAC? I've
BAC.
ever heard of.
Ever heard of. And for context, the minimum BAC on average to cause death is like 0.35.
Yeah.
So this is well above the toxic, deadly level of alcohol. And he would coax these women in multiple ways that we'll get to into drinking themselves into oblivion. He would take advantage of them,
Dumping it
and they would
down.
often die from alcohol poisoning. And then it's like, oh, accidental death. She OD'd on booze. Not my problem.
I mean, like, methodically, do you think he's like feeding them alcohol?
Yes, that's absolutely what he's doing.
Because at some point you just like can't drink anymore.
No, I think that he was, I can't confirm and no one can prove this, but he was in rapid succession at the very minimum, coaxing these women, these vulnerable women, into drinking so much that basically by the time they had completely lost their faculties, like the damage was already done.
Wow. Oh yeah, I guess if you're drinking quick enough.
And he would like wake them up. It takes a minute to metabolize.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cruel.
She was a middle-aged Caucasian woman born in England with no known relatives in Canada. She was a switchboard operator, and she was found in her hotel room in Vancouver. She was nude in her bed. She had bruises on her scalp, nose, lips, and chin. The coroner considered these injuries superficial and noted, quote, there is no evidence of violence or suspicion of foul play. They wrote it off as she drank herself to death.
Having bruises?
Gilbert Jordan was found with a number of her possessions, but there would be insufficient evidence to charge him with theft, so he would be released from jail the next morning.
Oh, good. To strike again.
We partied too much. Yeah, she gave me some of her shit. She died. It's not my
We
fault.
partied too much. Her BAC got up to like 8,000.
0.51. Oops, all blood alcohol.
Oh my God.
Then that's the first death that we could link to him. I personally believe that there were more that we don't know about.
Sorry, is he an indigenous person too?
He is not. He's a white man.
Okay. Got it.
So that took place in 1965. Now we're fast forwarding to the next known death linked to him. Mary Johnson, she was 42. She died November 30th, 1980 at the Aylmer Hotel. Her blood alcohol content was 0.34. She was a First Nations Indigenous woman. 1 week before her death, she called her sister-in-law, a woman named Lavana Gentry, and told her that she was afraid that somebody wanted to kill her. So I think he had been
Sniffing around.
stalking her a little bit, finding out, is she vulnerable? Does she drink? Can I manipulate her? This would prompt Lavana to ask police for her death to be investigated further after the fact, but nothing would come of it until police started reopening investigations with similar patterns after someone else's death that we'll get to 7 years later.
How far apart was Mary's death from Ivy Rose?
Mary was killed in 1965. Ivy was killed in 1980. So I believe that there were more in between there.
Oh, there's a lot of time.
However, he was in and out of prison.
Oh, good point.
So while I do believe that there are more that we don't know about that couldn't be linked to him, especially because the population he targeted were First Nations Indigenous women in Canada. And so the fucking cops didn't give a fuck about them and wrote them off as like completely devoid of their humanity, drunk women who died by ODing on booze.
Who cares? Scum. Brush them under the rug. Whatever.
Yep. It makes me want to fucking burst into tears. It makes me so sick. I think that there very possibly could have been more on his stints when he was out of jail, but we just can't confirm that. We can't.
And regardless of how long he was in jail, there's a good probability that there were others.
Honestly, I'm very confident that there were others, that these are the ones we know about, but he got off on this. There's no fucking way for 15 years.
Especially when we know about like the missing and murdered Indigenous women in Canada situation.
And in the United States.
And in the U.S.
He was only active in Canada, but
he knew who his victims were.
Yes, he did.
And he knew he could get away with it.
And he targeted them on purpose. Because he's a fucking racist psychopath.
Murderer.
Yep. So the sister-in-law said, quote, I suspected it was murder. I tried to talk to the authorities, but they weren't interested at all in Mary. Ivy. I guess I sounded like an overwrought sister and they didn't want to get involved. Her death was ruled an unnatural and accidental death. They said she drank herself to death. Nobody did this to her. She didn't die of natural causes. She died of an alcohol OD, essentially.
Cool. Great. Cool.
September 11th, 1981, 27-year-old Barbara Paul is found dead at the Glenard Hotel. Her blood alcohol level, some reports said 0.41, some reports said 0.43, quite high. She is also a First Nations Indigenous woman. The reports claimed that she had been drinking continuously for 4 days. I strongly believe that whether or not she had a substance use disorder, and honestly, many underserved populations do, I still think that she was fed alcohol on like a bender by Gilbert.
I mean, if this is his MO, it's like shaping up to be his MO. Why not?
Yep. In the days leading up to her death.
0.4.
Her death was ruled, again, unnatural and accidental. Quote, from the postmortem results, it is very likely that Barbara Ann Paul was a chronic alcoholic. In this incident, there is no doubt that the quantity of alcohol consumed by Barbara Paul caused her death, according to the coroner. Mary Johns, 25 years old, found July 30th, 1982 at 2503 Kingsway, which is his barber shop. Her BAC was 0.76.
What?
0.76. Yeah.
That's over twice the lethal limit.
Yep.
Oh,
also a First Nations Indigenous woman.
You'd have to be like injecting someone with alcohol at that point.
I mean, I think he's basically funneling it down their throats, even when they can't consent to drinking anything more. 0.76. She was found face down on a foam mattress with a blanket covering her. The coroner found that she had drank enough to kill her twice.
Yeah.
The coroner found no indication of foul play, noting that she had been drinking the previous evening with a friend who bought a large quantity of alcohol. Quote, it is my feeling that she ingested an immense quantity of alcohol without realizing the legal potentiality of it. Patricia Thomas, 40 years old.
If I show up tomorrow dead with a BAC of 0.7,
I will not fucking rest until your murderer is behind bars.
Someone has killed me.
There's no way. There's no way. Unless you are being...
And she's really young. It's not like she has a lifetime of like
25.
building up a tolerance. You know what I mean?
I can't imagine in my wildest dreams even having like gone to school for drug and alcohol counseling and been in close proximity to individuals who really have like pushed the limit pretty fucking far.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you are not functional enough to continue drinking to that level. Like no amount of fucking tolerance.
I would call that like a 0.35, 0.4. Like once you're past that lethal limit, 0.76?
You're not able to make decisions for yourself.
You
There's
would
no way.
never convince me that that was a voluntary level of drunkenness to get to. No.
No, but this is like the stereotype of indigenous people.
Women.
And
people and women. Yeah.
Yep. And the fact that they are women makes them that much more vulnerable. And no one is batting a fucking eye. They are connected to this same man. She died in his barber shop. And the same coroner, Larry Campbell, case after case after case is going, well, another one drank themselves to death.
She died in his barber shop.
In his barber shop.
That is so fucked.
It's so fucked. Patricia Thomas, 40 years old, died December 15th, 1984 at Gilbert's barbershop. Once again, her BAC was 0.51. She was a First Nations Indigenous woman. She had been drinking with him for 2 days. He told the police when he was questioned, because he was questioned most of the times because he was fucking connected to them.
They died at his shop.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
He told police that he'd met her on December 13th. They drank enough to pass out. He woke up. She kept drinking until she passed out again in the barbershop. He'd gone with, quote, a man to this mysterious man's place of business where they drank until passing out. Early the next day, December 14th, Gilbert claimed to leave the barbershop because she wanted, quote, a threesome and some booze. I believe this man so thoroughly. That's when Gilbert himself called the police and said he woke up and found her dead on the floor. Quote, I met her in front of the Dodson Hotel 3 or 4 days ago. We'd been drinking ever since then. I woke up this morning, asked if she wanted a drink, and she was dead. I phoned my lawyer, and then I went for coffee and then went to the police station. He continued to say, we spent yesterday drinking in the hotel room. She liked to drink vodka. I don't know if she took pills. When I picked her up, she had a black eye and a bruise on the side of her face and on her knee. Jordan would also be overheard telling an ambulance attendant that, quote, it's just a straightforward haul-out job.
About her body?
About her body. Her fucking body.
Straight up haul-out job. Just take what you need, do what you gotta do, just get her out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He didn't care at all.
I spoke to my HVAC guy earlier today with a little bit more specificity.
And respect.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet you fucking did, because you're not a sociopathic fucking monster.
That is...
It's sick.
Of all of the sick-ass things that you've said so far, that might be the worst part.
It's up there. My fucking jaw hit the floor when I read
It's a haul-out job. Don't worry about
I
it.
couldn't fucking believe it.
Holy shit.
An autopsy was conducted because of, quote, external evidence of a recent trauma. She had that black eye and obvious blunt force trauma to the face. Same coroner, Mr. Campbell, Dr. Campbell,
Fell down the stairs.
said that the injuries were relatively trivial and could have been caused as a result of falling down while intoxicated. Another doctor, Dr. Laurel Gray, did testify that she could find no evidence that Miss Thomas was an alcoholic, but that didn't seem to matter. Patricia Andrew, 45 years old, died June 28th, 1985 at, where else? His barber shop. Her BAC, 0.79. First Nations Indigenous woman with 4 children.
Stop.
To get a reading that high at time of death, experts state that she would have had to drink about 40 ounces of hard liquor at once in one, barely an hour period, in one sitting. Her body was found nude in Jordan's barbershop. Coroner Mary Lou Glazier found degenerative changes in her heart and liver associated with chronic alcohol abuse. So it's very likely that she had an ongoing substance use disorder.
Okay, but let's go back to this 40 ounces thing.
In one sitting.
A pint is 12 ounces, right?
A pint is 12 ounces. So yeah, 4 pints of hard liquor.
3-ish, 3.5 at once.
At once. One after another after another. I don't care what kind of degenerative changes in your heart and liver are there. That is beyond anything.
How the fuck
imaginable.
were no flags being raised about this? The cops at one address, where the fuck were
One
they?
address.
Wake the fuck up.
Not all of them, but the last 3 have all been at his same place.
Wake the fuck up.
Yeah, at hotels where he's either living or visiting. He's connected with all of these women, all of them.
And they're roughly a year, 2, 3 apart. A year apart.
This goes on basically from 1965 to 1987.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
0.79.
With obviously that first murder happening in 1965, and then we don't have another one on record until 1980. But again, I'm not convinced that nothing happened in those in-between years while he was in and out of prison. Not convinced. Not fucking convinced. It was reported that she and Jordan had been drinking Chinese cooking wine.
Well, that Chinese wine doesn't kill you, but it's a high proof.
I mean, it can have an alcohol content between 14 and 20%.
None of this stacks up. None of this stacks up.
Which is not 0.79 BAC.
That's fucking it. That's basically 0.8.
Yeah.
That's
Somebody's
so
fucking lying.
No, I can't.
Her death was, once again, ruled unnatural and accidental.
Mm-hmm.
Velma Gibbons, 38 years old, died September 25th, 1986 at the Balmoral Hotel. Her BAC was 0.63. She was also a First Nations Indigenous woman.
All of them were in First Nations.
Except one so far. Except one. All of them were First Nations women. The day before her death, she had called her estranged husband for a ride to their home that they had once shared because she wanted to give their 12-year-old son a birthday present. According to her estranged husband, a man named Ken Gibbons, he went to the Balmoral Hotel where she had been living since their separation over her drinking problem, but he could not find her. Quote, when we talked, she sounded quite sober. Had she been drinking, I couldn't pick her up because the kids don't like to be around her when she's drinking. She told me that she would meet me in the lobby, but then she wasn't there. So he's like, I talked to her. She sounded fine. I wouldn't have come to pick her up if she didn't sound okay.
Yeah.
Because the kids and I don't want to be around that. I came and she wasn't there. She was found dead at this same hotel. She lived in room 712, but was found in room 315. She was wearing only a sweater, a ski jacket, and socks, no pants or underwear.
Weird.
There was no liquor found in the room, only Chinese cooking wine, which her friends said she never drank.
Because why would you?
Because why would you? Her estranged husband, Ken, was suspicious because there was also no cash found on her. And he said that was strange because she would have just cashed her welfare check. So she would have had some money.
Mm-hmm.
Her death was ruled accidental as a result of acute alcohol poisoning. So it's very likely that Gilbert killed her and robbed her and assaulted her. That's why she had no fucking pants on. Why she had no cash on her, even though she just got her welfare check. And he clearly was trying to do this creepy thing with the Chinese cooking wine that's like, yeah, it'll get you drunk, but it's not that crazy. I'm going to leave this at the scene. And I'm going to claim that we were drinking this. And then it can be their fault if they drank any other hard liquor that ended up killing them. That's not on me. We were just drinking the Chinese cooking wine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very clear pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica, who went by Vera Harry, 33 years old, died November 19th, 1986 at the Clifton Hotel. She has the lowest BAC, still above the legal limit at 0.04. She was also a First Nations woman, a mother of 2.
Is that above the legal? Well, I guess Canadians' legal limit. Are we talking about legal limit to drive?
I think so.
Yeah, because I think Canadians is like 0.001.
It's like 0.01 or something.
Yeah. They take it a lot more seriously than we do.
Yeah, in the States, it's 0.01.
But still, she's, I think it's 0.04 in the States. Or is
Hey,
it
Siri.
0.08? I think it's 0.08.
What's the legal limit for drinking and driving in the United States?
I think it's 0.08.
I found this on the web for what's the legal limit for drinking and driving in the United States. Check it out.
0.08. 0.08.
So her being 0.04,
Mm-hmm.
she had like a drink and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just not.
Yeah, I mean, that's not drunk, but it's not
It's not drunk.
high enough like
I mean,
these other ones, and it's not above the fatal.
She's been drinking, but she's not
Yes.
drunk at 0.04.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be fair about that.
Yeah. So she had cuts and bruises on her face, but had been, quote, caught up in the downtown hardcore city life. And when they lead that kind of life, they get beaten up. And that's a quote from alcohol and drug counselor Ben Pierre on why he thought she had such injuries on her face at her time of death. It was implied in this situation, but not explicitly stated that this Ben Pierre guy was her alcohol and drug counselor. This might have just been like an expert witness kind of quote. I don't know. Regardless, she was found on the floor against a dresser in a room at the Clifton Hotel. The room had been rented by Gilbert fucking Jordan. The death had been reported by Gilbert Jordan when he arrived at the police station with his lawyer. Always brings his lawyer.
Oh my God.
He said that they had been drinking for the last 2 days. A woman named Dr. Laurel Gray would testify that she died of aspiration pneumonia due to chronic alcohol abuse, even though her BAC was only 0.04 at her time of death. She testified that the wastepaper basket near her body was likely full of her vomit, and that around 12 hours before her death, she probably inhaled some stomach contents into her lungs, resulting in the pneumonia that killed her.
That was the cause of death?
Cause of death. And it's very possible that she aspirated on vomit.
Yes, of course. Well, what was her blood out? Was she the low blood?
She was the 0.04, the low one. But if she had a history, which we know from her family.
Yeah. It's possible, but like, I mean, if some of these other people can get up to 0.7 and that's not like the, whatever. It's
Vanessa
horrible.
Vanessa Lee Buckner would be the case that like finally fucking does him in.
Okay, good.
She was 27. She died October 12th, 1987 at the Niagara Hotel with the highest BAC of any of his victims.
Oh, God.
0.91. This is more than 11 times the legal limit.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Court records stated that she was white. However, other newspapers would consider her mixed race, using a word that we do not use anymore. She did have a history of drug addiction, but was not known to be an alcoholic. She also had engaged in sex work, so she is of a vulnerable population.
0.9.
0.91.
Stop.
She had given birth 2 weeks before she died.
Oh, no.
This child,
Oh, my God.
this child had been taken by social services because the child had been born with drugs in their system. Gilbert reported her death. She was found naked at the Niagara Hotel. Her death was originally ruled accidental, but they eventually revised their opinion after further investigation.
Okay. I'm glad someone's fucking catching on.
Her parents advocated for her. So her mother, who was a psychiatric nurse, and her father, who was the owner of a construction company, pushed the police to investigate her death further. Quote, "It just didn't seem right. She had so much to look forward to. It's not a time in your life that you go out and get drunk," said her father, Peyton Buckner.
2 weeks after giving birth to get up to a
0.91.
triple lethal level.
Yeah.
No.
Quote, "She phoned me that day around 1:30 p.m. She seemed really good. She was talking about the baby. She didn't seem depressed or sad," said her father. He believed that Gilbert was finally stopped because he killed his daughter, who was not an alcoholic and who had family that insisted that the police look at her death. She was known to be a person that did not drink very much. She'd have 1 or 2 beers. And like, to be fair, that might have been just what her family knew of her. Other sex workers did indicate that she struggled with drugs and alcohol, although the pathologist did not find evidence in her autopsy of chronic alcohol abuse. Like, if she was drinking in excess for that long, there would be signs in her organs. And they just, those signs weren't there.
Cirrhosis, scarring, etc.
Quote, "He picked on the wrong person. She is someone that somebody cares about,"
Oh,
said
God.
Peyton Buckner,
That's
her father,
so
which it's heartbreaking.
So heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that any human being needs this level of advocacy for their death to even be looked at.
And what does that say? And I'm not disparaging her father's comment alone, but it's like, what the fuck does that say about the rest of the victims?
Yeah. Friends and social workers would describe Ms. Buckner as vulnerable, innocent, and naive. Said Vanessa was, quote, "a pretty young woman on the shy side, but extraordinarily pleasant. I would also say she was youthful and naive." This was from Reverend Barry Morris, the clergy person who officiated her memorial service. Quote, "She was vulnerable. You had to worry about her out on the street. She wasn't a regular out there. She was just making ends meet. Probably because she has a new baby."
So she was a sex worker too? Are they all sex workers?
No, they're not.
Okay.
I think there were a couple, but she's one of the only ones that we know to have been a sex worker.
And I'm not judging at all.
No,
you're
of
making
course not.
ends meet. It's a fair industry.
Her friend Maddie Monroe said Vanessa was the nicest little angel you could know, but had feelings of crushing guilt when the Ministry of Social Services took her baby. The guilt she felt, she had a broken heart. They cut her off from her own instincts. They should have given her support, a halfway house just for girls to straighten out in. Vanessa was, quote, "a really sweet kid, but she was abused by men, an easy mark," said another friend named Michelle Christensen. "She was trying to quit drinking, but she never did. One day she wanted the baby, and next day she couldn't deal with it." So she was going through a lot.
Yeah, well, babies are hard to deal with. They really are.
This case finally went to trial. And at that trial, Dr. John McNeil, a dean of pharmaceutical sciences at the University of British Columbia, gave expert testimony for the prosecution and said that a 115-pound woman would have had to consume 27 ounces of hard liquor all at once to reach that BAC. Most people would have passed out before being able to reach that level.
27
ounces. Quote, "Normally when people consume that much alcohol, they vomit and it's not absorbed. A number of these people, meaning Gilbert's victims, did die because they asphyxiated under their own vomit. They inhaled vomit into their lungs.
Oh, God.
When you get that drunk, there aren't any reflexes, so you choke on your vomit.
So it's not like you were poisoned with alcohol.
Some of them could be considered alcohol-related overdoses, poisonings, and some of them were asphyxiations on vomit after they'd already passed out and they couldn't respond. Their bodies couldn't respond to what was happening to them.
I just can't believe. I mean, I kind of hope that you get to the situation where he's like funneling booze down these women's throats because at point 9, you're not still drinking.
Dr. Laurel Gray, a forensic pathologist on this case, said that even if she hadn't asphyxiated on her stomach contents, she would have still died with such a high BAC. There's no way she could have survived. That she found no evidence during her autopsy to indicate Buckner was a chronic alcohol user. So even if she had struggled with some substance use, she didn't have the damage. That would indicate one. Mm-hmm. And at 0.91, quote, that's the highest blood alcohol level I've ever encountered in any case I've ever been associated with. Even though he was finally brought to trial for Vanessa's death, he did manage to sneak in one more.
Oh, good.
Edna Marie Shade, 53 years old, who died November 9th, 1987 at the Beacon Hotel with a BAC of 0.12. She was a First Nations Indigenous woman. She was known as Auntie locally, as she would often befriend young girls working in sex work to try to convince them to return to school. She was found nude at the hotel room where she was living. Police found Gilbert Jordan's fingerprints on a piece of broken mirror in the hotel. Her death was after Vanessa Buckler's, but Jordan at that point was already under suspicion. However, sometimes things move slowly, and the various departments were still comparing notes and investigations were still being conducted when she died. So he wouldn't be placed under surveillance until November 15th, 1987 because of Buckner's death, and he killed Edna on November 9th.
Oh my God.
Dr. Laurel Gray testified that she died from aspiration pneumonia, so essentially choking on her vomit. She would have had a much higher BAC when she inhaled gastric contents at least 12 hours before dying. And she did find evidence of chronic alcohol abuse in Edna's case.
So her BAC went up because she barfed her alcohol?
I think she's saying that if she hadn't vomited, then and choked on her vomit, and that killed her, that her BAC would have continued to rise after the fact, but she died before like those levels could even be recorded. So she likely had ingested more, but it takes time to metabolize it.
Yeah.
And she had already vomited and aspirated on her vomit. And so, her results were 0.12, but they likely could have been higher if she hadn't died that way.
So, question though, we've talked before about, what's it called? Your viscous, your ocular viscous, the juice in your eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you die, the juice in your eyeballs basically preserves the status of your bodily fluids when you die.
Sure, but this is 1987.
That's true.
Like what kind of forensic technology did we really have then? Not much.
I guess all I want to drive home is that at least nowadays, if you died in a drunk driving accident and your body wasn't found for like 2 weeks, they could still check this weird little marble in your eyeballs to see what your BAC was when you died, which is so fucking crazy to me.
I just don't think that was the method they used.
No, I'm sure not.
They drew
mid-80s,
blood or tissue.
Like, I don't know.
They tested that blood or tissue.
We should do a whole episode on that because it's fucking gnarly.
Yeah, because that's fucking fascinating. So all of these women being either straight up poisoned to death by alcohol or choking on their vomit by Gilbert could not yet be pinned on him. And finally, with Vanessa's death, police became suspicious. And they became suspicious enough to intensely monitor him as he roamed the bars and streets of the downtown east side of Vancouver.
Ew.
On one of their nights of surveilling him, they actually rescued 4 women, all First Nations Indigenous women, who were taken out of hotel rooms by police after Jordan had started plying them with liquor. Police would later testify that they were removed because the police feared for their safety, which, like, shit.
So the undercover cops were monitoring them and they were like, okay,
after Vanessa's
get out of
death,
here.
Because Vanessa's family advocated for her, they started to surveil him.
Whoa.
Like, how many fucking Indigenous women had to be killed by this man before you finally feared for their safety? Yeah.
Does he have to, like, fucking predate all over a fucking college campus for you to care?
I guess. So the rescued women were Rosemary Wilson. Her blood alcohol level was 0.52. Verna Chartrand, her blood alcohol level was 0.43. Sheila Joe, her BAC was unknown, and Mabel Olson, her BAC was unknown. It's possible that they refused the test. They were not under arrest. They didn't have to comply. But either way, the 4 women were rescued from these hotels that he was dragging them to. And 2 of the 4 had very high BAC. And they'd probably be dead if they hadn't been rescued. 3 out of the 4 women rescued would be taken to the hospital for treatment. 1 would be sent to a detox center after the fact. And under their police surveillance, these quotes from Gilbert Jordan were pulled. These are the things he was saying to these women.
Cool. Can't wait.
Have
I'm
a
totally
drink.
ready.
Have a drink. Down the hatch, baby. $20 if you drink it right down. See if you're a real woman. Finish that drink. Finish that drink. Down the hatch. Hurry right down. You need another drink. I'll give you $50 if you can take it. I'll give you $10, $20, $50, whatever you want. Come on. I want to see you get it all down. Get it right down. I'll give you the $50 and then the $13. I'll give you $50. I told you that. If you finish it, I'll give you $75. Finish your drink. I'll give you $20. I mean, these are vulnerable people. He's bribing them.
You're just tagging them, like stringing them along, like
knowing that they're going to die.
You want
and
another
he's
15
never going to
bucks?
pay that money. Yeah. So 8 out of 10 of Jordan's victims were First Nations women. Clearly, racism on his part was at play here. I mean, there's reports that he literally made like a Nazi salute in court. This guy is a fucking lunatic.
Cover your tracks, why don't you?
Yeah, in court. But obviously, systemic racism is equally to blame for how many lives were lost. The police's indifference allowed him to continue killing. Period. Full stop. So the indigenous population of the area were obviously deeply, deeply affected by this string of murders. Mm-hmm. And these are indigenous people who identify as Indian. So I am going to use that word because it's in their own words. Mm-hmm. Irene Richards, who is an Indian family counselor, commented on this case saying it was, quote, the same old story. Indian people are treated second class. And that, quote, the underlying reason why he went on so long is that cases involving Native women are taken very lightly. And she's completely right. Saul Terry, president of the Union of BC Indian Chiefs, so British Columbia, quote, why are our people not getting the same kind of justice? We feel that we are discriminated against. Again, absolutely fucking right. Velma Gibbons' sister, one of the victims, Fran Johnson, said on her sister's death, quote, it was just another dead Indian to them. If they were white, they would have done something quicker. I'm going to fucking start crying.
God.
All of this is true.
She's right.
They're all right. They're all right. And though this mostly took place in the 80s, these same issues of systemic racism are prevalent today in modern policing, especially when it comes to alcohol and drug-related crimes in the indigenous community. Mm-hmm. They are absolutely targeted as being addicts and blamed for their own pain, for their own disappearances, and their own deaths.
Trauma.
Very fucking regularly. Their own trauma. There's no fucking care, no humanity whatsoever. Mm-hmm. This is not a uniquely American problem. Obviously, this happens very much in the United States, but this is taking place in Canada.
Yeah, it's just Canada.
Yeah. So finally, this motherfucker is arrested for Vanessa Buckner's death. On November 26, 1987, after the 4th incident of police eavesdropping and moving in to intervene, police arrested and charged him with first-degree murder in Buckner's death. On November 30th, 1987, he appeared in court. He was charged with first-degree murder for the October 12th murder of Vanessa Buckner. This is, again, he could only be charged with this one because all of the deaths had been ruled accidental, including Vanessa Buckner's, but her parents stepped in and got that investigated deeper, and they changed the cause of death.
Oh, shit.
So that's why, even though he was absolutely responsible for all of the murders of these women, this is the only one.
So they still might not have pinned all of these murders on this one motherfucker because of...
They didn't. He only saw court for Vanessa's death.
That's you kidding me?
No. This is what happened. So he receives a first-degree murder charge on October 1st of 1988, but it was lowered to manslaughter by the Crown.
Manslaughter.
Yep. He pled not guilty, and he was asked to be tried by a judge without a jury. So he goes to trial on October 19th of 1988. He admitted in trial that he had a severe drinking problem.
For one count of manslaughter.
One count of manslaughter.
Bitch.
One.
No.
He admitted that he often gave already intoxicated women more liquor prior to sexual activity, but that he never imagined that anybody would die.
It's their fault. It's all
Quote, I
their
guess
fault.
I could be classified as a binge drinker. I would drink until I got sick and then drink again. I had no anticipation of them dying. They wanted to drink and I wanted to drink. And as long as we had money, we drank.
No.
He also denied encouraging them when they didn't want to drink.
0.9.
Yeah.
0.9.
And he'd been surveilled, and we gathered all those quotes of him literally offering to pay these women to keep drinking. But he denied that. He said, no, I did not at any time. Never. I believe most of the women I go with are alcoholics, and you don't have to encourage a drinking alcoholic to drink.
Fuck this man.
I know.
Fuck
he knew
this
exactly what he
man.
was doing. He knew
Yes.
exactly what he was doing.
And who he was doing it to.
Too. Yep.
Oh my
Got
God.
away with it for years.
I am
years.
sweating.
I know.
This is awful.
It's fucking horrific. He was diagnosed as a, quote, inadequate personality, which is like some old school term for being.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
the most Canadian
I know.
diagnosis I've
Can we
ever
stop
heard.
being so fucking polite, for God's
Stop.
sakes?
Inadequate
Diagnose
personality.
him as a fucking piece of shit. Put him away forever. Let's just do that.
Inadequate humanity. Goodbye. Goodbye.
I mean, he didn't see any of these women as human. Not a single
my
fucking one.
God.
Not a
I
one.
Can't.
This would be described by Dr. Roderick Whitman as, quote, it's often applied to alcoholics at that time who were inadequate in the face of the ordinary stresses of life and often took refuge in alcohol.
Okay.
Cute.
I mean, I had a bad week,
Yep.
but
I know.
what?
I know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I speechless. Defense attorney Glenn Orris would argue that Gilbert Jordan didn't force these women to drink and called the women willing participants. He raised the possibility that Vanessa Buckner could have died by suicide by ingesting a fatal dose of alcohol.
Was she the 0.9?
Let me see. Hers was
I know that was
Yeah,
very
0.91.
insensitive for me to say. 0.9.
0.91.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
she
I
did it.
had a bad day. I'm just gonna keep drinking to the point where almost
I can't-
1% of my blood
Is
is
pure alcohol.
Cheetos.
Pure alcohol. There's no fucking way. You cannot convince me. You
No.
cannot convince me that
No.
she did that to herself. Absolutely the fuck not.
This is so repulsive.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, good.
This defense attorney says she could have had a form of postpartum depression after learning she might not be able to have custody of her infant baby who had been born drug dependent and required hospital care. So she was so depressed, she drank herself to death. And this shit
That's
just makes
the
me so
solution.
fucking
That's
sick.
the logical solution. Yeah, I get it.
This woman
I see
needed
it. I totally
help.
get it.
She needed help. Okay, if a child is born with drugs in their system, there's a serious problem. I'm not saying that there isn't. She needed help and she was not provided with resources. Her vulnerabilities were then exploited and she was murdered by this sicko. And then the defense further exploits her vulnerabilities by blaming her because she has a history of substance use disorder.
I can't.
This shit is why
like
the
I'm barely
stigma-
following because I'm so flabbergasted.
so mad. The stigma against folks with substance use disorder is so fucking dangerous. And absolutely, yes, we need to protect children whose parents are not able to care for them. Absolutely, we do. But systems do not prioritize healing families and keeping them together. And it's so fucking heartbreaking.
Or also apparently just listening to women. I mean,
No. She lost her baby and she was killed 2 weeks later by alcohol poisoning.
quote unquote.
This guy, he poisoned her.
Yeah.
He fucking poisoned her and knew she was vulnerable. She was probably going through absolute fucking hell.
And who's to say he didn't take a fucking plastic funnel and dump shit down her throat?
Exactly.
We don't know. And
We don't
probably
know.
that is the case for the 0.91 person.
1000%.
You fucking kidding me?
I
Nobody
agree.
drinks themselves.
To a 0.91 BAC?
to
Absolutely
that.
not.
That's
Absolutely not.
gnarly. That is so insane.
Yep.
Okay, well, I don't want to
Fortunately-
finish my drink now.
No, I mean, I'm going to.
I mean, I'm
because-
going to, but like, I don't want to.
But yeah.
God.
The judge presiding over this case said, quote, the overwhelming weight of the admissible evidence, including that of the accused himself, reveals a man who preyed upon Native Indian women for his sexual gratification. He got some kind of perverted satisfaction in watching these women drink themselves into insensibility. At times, he knew that too much alcohol would cause the death of Vanessa Buckner, but he was indifferent to her fate. Absolutely true. Period.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yep.
But of course, his charge was manslaughter, for which he was originally sentenced to 15 years, which was
fucking slaughter.
manslaughter.
For how many
15
counts?
years. One. Only Vanessa. One. He was originally sentenced to 15
I'll
years,
kill
which was commuted to 9 years, and he served 6 years.
Fuck. Let me at him.
He was released on probation in 1994 after serving only 6 years, and despite objections of his AA counselor, his psychologist, and his caseworker, all of them were like, do not let him out.
Oh,
And the
my
3-member
fucking
parole
God.
board approved his release.
No.
Yep.
All of the professionals on the side
Said don't do
of
it.
decision making that the professionals belong on.
They all said don't do it. And the parole board released him. He returned to a correctional halfway house for nights and weekends for the next 3 years until his sentence was complete.
He killed 15 more women.
He didn't, thank God.
Hasn't.
Well, he's dead now.
Okay, bye.
He finally fucking died. But
Jesus.
he, the conditions of his parole, he was not allowed to drink. I don't know if he did, but, you know,
It doesn't
Vanessa,
really seem like drinking was necessarily like his bag.
His
that was
issue.
his MO.
yeah. I mean, he was also an alcoholic, but like,
Well, yeah, but like,
He
okay,
didn't
I'm gonna
suffer.
drink some vodka. Ooh, I got the urge to like get some bitches drunk.
he
and
wasn't
kill
the
'em.
one suffering. He was poisoning these women one after the other.
I can't.
Poor Vanessa Buckner's mother, Corinne, said, quote, so that means he gets free room and board. That man is going to go on doing these things if he drinks, and everyone agrees he's got to drink again.
Yeah, even if
And he probably did.
even if he didn't, that wasn't actually his issue. It was getting other vulnerable people drunk so that he could kill them.
No, nothing about this is justice.
Oh my God.
He lived free for another 12 years. From what we could find, he didn't offend again to the point that got him into prison.
Okay.
And he
Congrats.
died in 2006.
Goodbye.
Good fucking riddance.
Good fucking bye.
I know. Can you fucking believe?
I mean, I think a reported BAC of 0.91 is gonna be what haunts me from this case, because
The rest
that is
of my life. The amount.
and getting away with it, effectively getting away with it,
Yeah, he went to jail for 6 years.
and,
And
not
then he
even
was-
just for that specific How many victims
he
did he
went
have?
to-
He had 8 victims. How many? 10?
10 and that we know of. He went to prison for 1 and served 6 years and then was on parole and then died of probably fucking like cirrhosis or whatever the fuck, peacefully hopefully painfully.
I hope that it was a very slow,
Oh
painful
God, I hope so too.
prison death.
I mean, he didn't die in prison. He died out of prison, but I hope it was a painful and agonizing fucking death, because that is the least that he deserves. And I don't believe in the death penalty. He died on his own accord, but I can certainly hope that he fucking suffered until his last fucking breath for what he did to these women.
Unfucking real.
I know. I will never forget this case
Me
until
neither.
the day I die.
This is a bad one.
It's a bad one, but I had never heard of this ever.
Me neither.
Everyone should fucking know about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we've been at it for almost 3 hours, so we're gonna go.
I gotta go.
We have to go.
Hope you enjoyed this really long episode. I hope that
Holy
you
shit.
drink responsibly. And thank you so much to Peggy LaRoe with your made up fucking
Peggy.
name.
Peggy, I totally forgot you existed because this episode was fucking buck
It
wild.
was fucking insane. Thank you so much for listening, hanging in there with us. Maybe
love you.
maybe an episode in the future will be less heavy, but we can't promise anything. So
No, we're not making any fucking promises. You guys want this, so we're fucking giving it to you.
we love you. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Danielle Sylvan. Music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell. Editing by Jonathan Camp. Our production manager is Andrea Gardner. For photos and sources, check out our blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can follow us on all the socials at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support and get access to all sorts of wine-fueled bonus content, visit our Patreon page. Cheers!
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.